Search is over, now welcome to First Mint. Looking for NFT content, look no further cause this is it. From Top Shot to blockchain, they got the data chops, analysis, and pack drops, the shows equate a hot. LG and Phil D, the best amongst others. Best brothers to happen to ball since the Ball brothers. So settle in cause it's time for the best show. Ayo Quad, who we reppin'? First Mint. Let's go.
There we go. Hey.
Whoa.
What's up?
This guy. Wow.
Man, I just came out of the bush, Phil.
Wow. Came out of
literally
the bush.
Just returned to civilization after being away for an incredibly long time, 4 days.
Wow. I was going to say, you know what? Before you left, and you left me in charge of the First Mint Twitter account and stuff like that, it kind of hit me right after you left. I'm like, I don't even know when the hell he's coming back. Like,
that's just like last time. This is the same thing.
So it's impossible to plan anything because I'm like, okay, I want to do this. I want to do this. I want to do a grand finale. But when the hell is the grand finale when I don't even know when the hell you're coming back? So, so I had no idea until you messaged me. I'm back. Nice. It felt like it was only a few days, to be honest with you. It felt like it went by really, really fast. Not for you, I'm sure, but for us.
Yeah. Well, you know what's funny is that especially these days when you're so involved, like when you're online so much that for the first couple hours, once you actually lose service, you actually keep checking your phone as though there's going to be service. And then once you start, we were canoeing. So once you start canoeing, then you're working hard and you kind of forget about it. And you honestly, there's a point where you just turn off your phone and put it away like permanently. You're like, I'm not going to be able to use this. So you kind of stash it away. And then time kind of changes. I find like when you're away from your phone, the length of time kind of changes. And by the time you check back in, like it's overwhelming the amount of information. And you feel like so much happened, but it's mainly people talking about events from 2 days before that you missed feels like you missed an eternity. So it's kind of funny to check back in.
Did you at any point almost die? Like, be honest, because I know when you go out to these things, like I always envision. I don't do too much outdoor stuff.
I've almost died many times.
I ever did was a couple years ago during the pandemic because LG, we're kind of at opposite ends of this kind of stuff. You're a very outdoorsy, even though you're from the city like me, you've had the experience of being outdoors and doing all the the crazy outdoor, pretty much because of where you live too, right? Like it's totally different than here in Ontario where it's flat. Every trail is the same here where you go in the forest and it's like, what the hell is going on here?
Sorry, no, I just had to reset my camera. Yeah, keep going.
No. I the only reason I stopped is because it's happened before where I talk for like half an hour and then I realize we're either not recording or we're not like live anymore. I just wanted to make sure. But here in Ontario, we don't have anything. Like you go on trails here, it's actual bush, but not nice bush. It's just nothing. So I've never been an outdoorsy person. Like I go camping and stuff and fishing, but I don't enjoy it kind of like the way other people do. I'm very much someone that likes to be in the city, home, hustle and bustle and stuff like that. But during the pandemic, we were forced to kind of explore a little bit because everything else was closed. All the kids' sports stopped. There were no options. The malls were like, remember they had to line up to get into Walmart. Like you had to line up for like 2 hours to get into Walmart. So all that stuff. So we started exploring and I started really enjoying hiking and going out and seeing places. So we kind of stepped it up a notch later in the pandemic. We went to places like Tobermory, Ontario. And I went on a hike there where you could literally go on the edge of the biggest cliff ever. And like you're one step away from dying. That's why I'm asking. So that was my closest experience to that. But the places you go is like, I remember years ago, LG would hit me up on my phone and be like, all right, in case mom and dad ask, like I'm good, but I'm gonna be like out of service for like 2 to 3 weeks, like just gone. You won't be able,
never
whatever the hell it was. Okay, hold on. But there are times I do remember where mom and dad, who obviously tried to keep it as subtle as possible, would send me a message. Have you heard from your brother? Okay, that's it. Nothing more. Not like we're worried. None of that. Not we don't know where he is. Just have you heard from your brother? And I'm like, okay. I remember he told me he was going to be out of cell phone service for a while. So what do I say? So back to my question: did you have any near-death experiences out in the bush?
On this trip, no. Not on this trip. So, so yeah, I moved out west like 9 years ago, and it was mainly to do stuff like this. And where you live in Ontario, there are tons of places you can go canoeing and doing that stuff, but it's the lakes in Ontario are full of bugs, and there's not as much elevation, like you're saying. Whereas here, we're on the coastal mountains. You drive a couple hours inland, or 10 hours inland, you get to the Rocky Mountains. There's a lot of stuff to do here. I've been on trips that have had some hairy calls, and usually there's 2 types of ways that you can die on these trips. 3 types of ways. One is getting lost, which is the simplest way that
Mom, stop listening right now. Like,
Mom, stop listening. Yeah, I got to tell you all the ways you can die.
Just stop listening. Come back in 3 minutes. Yeah.
Most common ways. So the most common way is actually people get lost and they're not prepared. Those are the 2 most common things. So when people tell you bring the 10 essentials, they're not kidding. Like, there's people around here that literally go on a trail in the forest, an open trail that like everybody walks on, and they walk 50 feet off of it to chase their dog or whatever, and they die because they trip, they break their leg, they don't have a phone, whatever it is. So you have to be incredibly careful, like literally as soon as you go into the forest or the wilderness or whatever. That is the number 1 way to die. That is, I say I'm low risk for that because I'm well prepared. I go with people that are well prepared. I tell people where I'm going, so no risk there. Number 2 is like dying due to like some kind of element exposure, like you fall off a cliff, you drown in the lake, you drown in the ocean, anything else like that could have a tree falls on you, very unlikely, but some other kind of like the nature, it physically kills you in some avalanche, right? And people go ski touring, which is like not on a resort. You just go up the mountain and ski. People die in avalanches. And then number 3 is the most extreme and incredibly rarest, but is actually the one that people are most afraid of, which is being killed by an animal. So number 3, everybody's like, you'll be killed by a grizzly, obviously, but honestly, I couldn't even tell you the times people have been killed by grizzlies because it's so rare. So, but that is still somehow when you plan these types of trips, that's the part people prepare for the most. Like even, I went on this trip with a group of guys that we've been trying to do like one paddling trip every year for maybe 6 or 7 years now. I think we missed a year or 2 during COVID, obviously, but otherwise this group has been doing like some kind of summer trip where it's like we're gone 3, 4, 5 nights paddling, either kayak or canoeing in some different cool place. And the chatter in the group chat beforehand, when it comes to safety, maybe there's one message about like, does somebody have a first aid kit for, Band-Aids and Tylenol? And, do we know where we're going? Do we have the route? But then most of the chatter is one guy was going to bring like for this, most of the chatter is like for safety comes to animals. And yeah, it's funny. And one guy on this trip was going to bring his like 12 gauge shotgun that is designed to kill bears. And I was like, you know what? I don't think we need that. I was like, I don't think we need to, I don't think we need to bring the weight of a gun on this trip for the really rare occurrence where we might see a grizzly bear.
Oh, for you was the weight? It was more the weight. Me, it would be like, what if someone gets drunk one night and decides like, I hate these guys and I want to shoot all of them and no one will ever find them. Screw that.
Yeah, or that guy. Yeah, maybe it was his plan to kill us all along was to bring his gun.
No chance. I agree.
So I told him we didn't need it. But what he did do, this is actually pretty good. He brought bear bangers. So for bear defense, there's a few different types of like bear prevention and bear defense. Like at the very low level, people bring bear bells, which are just like a little bell that you can attach to your dog or your hip that kind of does this like. Can
you imagine in front of the grizzly bear? You'd be like, "Excuse me."
It's supposed to kind of ward them off, but a lot of people around here also call them dinner bells because it kind of tells the bears that there's people around. Bears that kind of live near people, they like people because people will leave garbage behind. Right. So if you're going in a place where there's bears and there's often people, the bears will actually be more attracted to you because they'll be like, oh, humans means food, because people will leave like wrappers, you cook your eggs, drop an egg, whatever. Like there's actually
those are like the domestic bears. They're used to people.
Well, right? And those are the ones they have to put down. When a bear gets used to people, they have to freaking kill it. Right. Because then the bear's just going to keep coming back and then get mad at people or charge people. So there's been places around here they've shut down.
The one we saw when they came out your way, I was so excited, but then like I was going, whoa. And like he didn't even care. It was just looking for food.
No,
it didn't care that we were there. It was just I could tell it wasn't really a wild bear, because a wild bear, if you drop a whoa, he's gonna look at you like, excuse me.
He's gonna freaking run away, and that's most like 99% of bears and like deer and freaking elk and all the other moose, whatever the kind of stuff you might encounter in the woods. Like the best bear defense when you're hiking is actually to be loud. So if you're in a big group, great, you're talking. Or even if I like times I'm alone walking in like maybe a bear area, like I'll clap my hands and like kind of shout a little bit. And that lets them know like, really far away that you're coming. So that's general bear defense. And then the next thing that people bring with them, we didn't see a bear on this trip. I'm just going to preface this so that there's no, this doesn't build up to a bear encounter. We saw bear tracks. We saw like big bear tracks in the mud, but we didn't see any bears. But the next line of bear defense is bear spray, which is like mace, but designed for bears. So it's like mace on steroids. And that's something that you spray the bear with, like when the bear is like coming close to you and like maybe like 6 feet away. It's a bit of a last line of defense. And most of the time, it's probably just going to piss the bear off. Like it's not really going to save your life.
Obviously, I mean, like,
and it's good. And like pepper spray, it's going to go all over the place. It's going to mess you up too, right? It's going to go in your face and stuff. So it's something that you can use, but honestly, like if the bear's that close, then you've already done something wrong. And then from there, like, if the bear wants to kill you, the bear's going to kill you. But another thing that we had on this trip, instead of a gun, is something called a bear banger, which is pretty much like a firework designed for wildlife. So what you do is you shoot this thing in the air and it explodes in the air and makes a loud noise that is supposed to scare all the wildlife away from where you are. So when we got to campsites, because we're at different campsites every night, we would set one of those off. Which was really helpful. That's because then anything around, even if they might smell the food on us or whatever, that's going to scare them. Like they're just going to run for like 20 minutes.
But if you set it off, is that another way of seeing what kind of wildlife you have around you too? I feel like that's what I would do. I would want to be like, okay, let's see what the hell's hiding in these bushes. They
don't like come out of, they don't like scurry out of the bushes like right beside you. The bear's not hidden behind the rock on your campsite waiting for you to look away.
You see Bigfoot take off. You see the bears, the wolves, everything. It's exactly
what's funny though is that the part, and everybody's experienced this through camping, even if you're car camping like you do, the part where you think about the bears most is at night, which is funny. You know what I mean? Like you have to walk to the bathroom at night. You're like, something's gonna kill me.
I'm a disaster.
Right? Like it makes no sense. And then once you get in your tent, you're like, now a bear's gonna kill me. It knows where I am, which is hilarious because it's like bears don't really roam around at night. Like they you can't see that well. They roam around at dusk and dawn.
That's
like
true.
all animals.
You never see them at night. You're right.
Bears,
I don't.
Yeah,
think
maybe it's. They can, but it's like the instances, like when you look at like bear encounters people have in the forest, like maybe there's one case ever of like a bear jumping on someone's tent, but it's like you have just as much chance of winning the lottery than having a bear jump on you, unless you lather yourself in like fish oils and leave a trail of fish like along the whole day. Then a bear will probably come get you, but otherwise you're fine.
Let's clear the air though. Okay. And I'm sure a lot of our listeners can attest to this. All right. And I know the ULG, you are proper with safety measures when it comes to animals and all that stuff. Okay. Someone like me definitely has no clue how that even works. And I would probably act the way you're not supposed to act if it were to happen. Okay. Yeah. Me screaming at the bear, no chance. Or that I'm not doing that.
You're not going to scream.
One thing I am definitely not doing, and I know this is in the guidebook of what you do if ever you encounter a bear and it like comes at you, I am not sitting there and playing dead, no matter what. Okay. You are 100% going to be killed on the spot instead of at least fighting for your life. Like at least I'll do the screaming and I'll throw rocks, I'll set off bangers, but I'm not sitting there letting this thing sniff my ass and sniff, every part of my body until he decides, well, there's a good piece of food.
Yeah.
Or do they not eat humans? Like, what do they do?
They don't eat humans. Like bears don't want to eat humans.
So they kill you when they're scared.
Bears don't eat big animals.
Okay.
They eat things like they eat dead things. Like a big animal. If a big animal just died, like if you're hunting,
big dead.
I don't hunt, but if you're hunting and you hunt like elk or deer, and you hunt something really big, and you're in a bear area, like when you kill it, you better, whatever you're doing, if you're harvesting it, skinning it, or whatever you're doing, like you better do it quickly because that smell is going to attract animals from everywhere. It's a dinner bell for the forest when a big animal dies, right? Well, like any other, like think a whale dies in the ocean, like that's a dinner bell. Everybody come eat. There's tons of free meat.
Or an 18-year-old jumps off a cruise ship. That's another.
There you go. Yeah, that's another dinner.
Did you see that thing on the news? That was a couple days ago.
Yeah, I saw that.
Friends dared him, and that was it.
Super messed up.
Yeah. That's wild, man.
But a bear doesn't have you on their menu. Bears will kill you because they're threatened. And the most dangerous type of bear you can encounter is a mom with cubs.
Babies. You see it all the time.
She's gonna freaking mess you up because that's the most protective.
Every animal.
Honestly, a big male bear. People are like, oh, a big male bear. It's like, yeah, maybe, but like he's not interested in you. If you have food, he wants it. But otherwise, doesn't give a shit. Typically. Playing dead's kind of interesting. If you ever saw The Revenant, where Leo fights a bear, like I think that's actually pretty close to what being mauled by a bear would be like. And I think people also don't realize, it's funny we're talking about bears, I didn't see any, but it's funny, is mainly we have to think about is that people don't realize the scale of bears. Like you see a little black
Mhm,
bear
mhm.
in your yard and you're like, that looks like a big dog. And it is, except it has it has the equivalent strength of like a freaking gorilla. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
You know how
yeah.
orangutans like could beat you in tug of war like easily,
Yes.
like bench press way more than you. Like think of that, but it's a bear, and instead of pull strength, it has like slash strength. So it's like even black bears like that I've post videos of, like those are insanely dangerous if they want to kill you, right? Like,
Oh,
but they
man.
don't. The 99.9% of them don't. But if they wanted to or had a reason to, people thinking that they could take on a black bear, like no, you can't. Honestly, that's like saying like you could take on like a giant pit bull. Like you can't. You honestly can't. Right? Like it's
Mhm.
pretty much impossible. And then that's just a black bear. The next level up is a grizzly bear, which is a monster. Like a grizzly bear is like a freaking monster, man. Like a grizzly bear is like weighs 1,000 pounds. You think about that. Like that's 4 times us. You know, 4 or 5 times like our I don't know, our combined weight, whatever we weigh. You know what I mean? Like that is, a grizzly bear is so giant, and its strategy, if it wants to kill something and eat it, is to step on it and break it and rip it apart with its claws are like 2-3 inches long. Like fighting a grizzly bear would be like fighting a raptor in Jurassic Park. Like that's probably the closest thing you could think of. They're also insanely fast. They're faster than you are, and they can climb trees. Like that's basic. Like trying to fight a grizzly that's basically what it'd be like trying to fight a raptor from Jurassic Park. Like you have no chance. So you have to make it not interested in you. Luckily, I haven't been in too many of these situations, and I wasn't on this trip. But that's basically like what bear safety is. A polar bear is like on a different level. Like polar bear is like a 2 tons, and polar bears kill for fun. So you never want to encounter a polar bear ever in your life. Like they kill things because they think it's funny. Like the polar bears are
They
like
think it's funny.
Polar bears are kind of like the psychopaths of nature.
Psychopath,
like they're the alpha. Nothing kills them. They don't give a shit, and they'll kill seals for sport.
For sport. Nice.
Yeah, there's no polar bears. I've never seen a polar bear. You have to go pretty far north.
So you were on the water quite a bit. So I've always wanted to ask you this because I saw a couple of recent videos in the Caribbean somewhere where all these tourists go on a boat and the driver has no idea what he's doing, and a wave just like knocks the whole boat over and everyone's in the water like dying. Yeah. What do you do with your phone? Do you lock it up in some kind of plastic like waterproof thing, or because I've always thought all these people doing videos all the time, someone always ends up in the water. And for me, I try and never bring my phone near water when I'm on vacation and stuff. It's really hard though. When you're going on these tour boats, you want to get every, but when they sink or when something happens, I'm always like, that's the first thing I think of. Yeah, you want to still be alive, but holy shit, all these cell phones just went down with the boat, right? Like, what do you do with yours? When you said you put it away, but do you put it in some kind of waterproof plastic, or is it just hope I don't go in? Especially on a canoe, man.
So pretty accessible for that kind of stuff is a dry bag. Right, which is just like a long kind of plastic or like some kind of thick, material bag that you then put your stuff in, and then you seal it by rolling it like 10 times and you clasp it together. So that like you can dunk down in water, it's fine. So what we're doing, so basically the way this trip worked is that we were canoeing across, like we would canoe and then portage. Portage is where you carry your canoe on your shoulders, basically, to walk from one lake to the other. Normal. And then we're staying at different campsites on this we're kind of doing a circuit. So in those cases, yeah, like the stuff that I don't need unless it's like an emergency or that I don't need until the end of the trip, like wallet, phone, first aid kit, all that kind of stuff, that's in a dry bag, just stuffed at the bottom of my backpack. Like it doesn't, that's stuff I'm like, I'm only going to need that. But usually when we're on the canoes, you kind of prepare all your gear so that all your really important stuff, like your dry clothes and your sleeping bag, mine is a down sleeping bag, so if that gets wet, it's not drying for like a month. You want to have those in good sealed dry bags so that if in the unlikely event that your canoe does flip over, you can recover our stuff, and the stuff that's important will be dry, right? So that's typically how you protect against that. The stuff you're talking about, like that's like casual tourist stuff, like that's people dropping their phones in the oceans like idiots. That's I don't know what you could do, but for that, I mean, for us, like totally way that some guys brought their phones and had them out on the canoes. And I think I did that at one point too, but otherwise I always had it like sealed up in something in a bag that can float, right? Because that's the other thing too. It's not just keeping your phone. There's also little pouches for your phone, right? That are kind of like a mini dry bag that just fits a phone, and then you can roll it up and you can even take photos with it. But that's also kind of a risk. You need a cord for that. You could drop that into the lake and then it'll just sink and you'll never see it again, right? So yeah, a lot of different ways to prepare, but honestly, you don't really like flipping is a potential, but I don't really go on trips too much where you can flip. Like we don't go into like really insane water, let's put it. But what I can tell you, since you probably want to know, outside, we didn't see any bears. I didn't actually tell you anything about the trip. We didn't bring the gun either. These trips often end up in spirit when we're planning them are like chill trips. We're like, this will be chill. We'll have a good time. Let's bring a bunch of alcohol, like let's have fun and just spend a lot of time in nature, just relaxing at the campsites, not worry too much about the canoeing. And the first day we took a shuttle from the town because we had to go camp the first night in a town and then pick up the canoes at 8 a.m. and get a guy in a van to drive us to the bottom of a lake, like drive us like an hour up a logging road. And our shuttle driver's name was Chad. Chad was a nice guy.
Chad
hates Justin Trudeau, as you can imagine.
Yes.
Any small town. So any small town in Canada, you're gonna get that. Had some. I don't know how it came up, but he had some pretty extreme views. But anyway, otherwise, really nice guy. And Chad was driving us there, and he obviously knows the canoe circuit really well. And he was like, he told us about one portage that's called Cardiac Hill, and Cardiac Hill is a 2 kilometer and a half stretch, so just under a mile, maybe, a hill that rises and descends about 200 meters, so a couple hundred feet, and you have to go on it to go to one of the lakes. He's like, that's about halfway through your route, so that's pretty tough to do with a canoe. The canoes weigh 70 pounds, by the way. So, and they have, if you ever seen a canoe in the middle, you might wonder what that wooden part is, right? There's 2 canoe seats, and in the middle, there's kind of like a wooden part with a little rut in it. That is called a yoke, and that's when you carry a canoe, one person carries it and they put that part on their shoulders. And that's why they have the big canoe kind of over their head. Anyways, trip starts, guy drops us off. As soon as he drops us off, we don't even put the canoes in the water. Immediately, like someone busts out like a vape and cigarettes and beers and everything. We're like, yeah, we're here. And we just start getting friggin' wasted on the shore without even getting in the canoe. Mom's going to love this. That we drank beers and canoed. And then,
did you have your life jacket on or what?
We had life jackets.
That's all that matters.
They were in the canoes. They were there. And at times we had to wear them because the water did get choppy. So more on that later. So first day we do one lake, we're chilling. The water is glass, it's beautiful. We're just canoeing. We're like, wow, it's so beautiful. One guy busts out his little drone. We're taking videos, having a great time. We get to the first portage. It's like 700 meters, right? So we walk. We're like, oh, we got to carry all our shit. Yeah, we're manly. Do the next lake, and then we get to the campsite, and we have like all day at this campsite. Maybe that traveling took us maybe 4 or 5 hours. Right, the rest of the day at the campsite, we finish our beer. The beer was done by 4 o'clock the first day, which was good. We had less of it to carry, but a little extreme. And we're chilling around this campsite, all buddies. We haven't seen each other in a long time. We're having a good time, and we're like, all right, there's 3 more days. Tomorrow's going to be a hard day because we have to do this Cardiac Hill thing. But then everything aside that hill is going to be really chill. We're going to have a great time. Everything after that day was a sufferfest, was an absolute rigorous disaster. We go to do this Cardiac Hill. It's an absolute friggin' pain to carry these 70-pound canoes on our back. And then we do a 16-kilometer round trip on the next lake. And on the way back, we're into the headwind. So you're canoeing into the wind, which pretty much makes you move like freaking molasses. Like
I can't even
dying
go in a canoe to begin with. Like I go in canoes without headwind, and I can't paddle in the right direction. I always end up like going sideways. And the waves
that are hitting you, like the canoe is like slamming on the front, like smash. And if you turn or something like that, like you could easily flip. So it takes us so long. We're like canoeing into the wind. We got to go back up Cardiac Hill, right? Which is absolute like murder, like just absolute torture. We get back to the campsite and then we calculate the next day's route. And it turns out that the third day is like an insane day that we didn't really pay attention to, where we ended up going through 5 lakes and 4 portages. So it's pretty much what we did that really hard day. The second day, like 3 times in a row. And every single one of those 5 lakes, we were paddling into the freaking wind. So that was pretty bad.
That's not my thing.
And then yesterday was the day we left. And we had another long portage and one last giant lake, like an 11-kilometer lake to finish. And the lake, it's like the lake was trying to kill us. Like it was like the tempest came down, especially as we got closer to the end, the wind picked up. And like, I'm not even kidding you, every stroke, like every wave that would hit the canoe, I was on the front of mine. And by that point, like the waves would hit me and get me wet. Like that's how big the waves were. So it was a sufferfest. Everybody was in a lot of pain through most of it. But what can I say? Nothing like drinking a bunch of beer, finishing it all the first day, switching to hard liquor, and then just paddling and portaging in a super painful way for 3 days with your buddies. That's what it's all about.
That sounds okay. Like I'm now
It's
now
not for
all
everybody.
about adventure, and I've actually, I was telling you this before we started recording that I was exploring Netflix a couple of weeks ago, and I saw a show on the earthquake that happened at Mount Everest. I think it was like maybe I don't know how long ago, but and a bunch of people died at one of the main camps because it triggered a huge avalanche, and it wiped out a lot of people. I did not know anything about Mount Everest. I literally, in my mind, thought you could show up there at the base and like find your own way up and just like go. I'm like, that's my kind of adventure. But after watching this documentary, little did I know that first and foremost, it needs to be a guided adventure. Okay. You need to pay tens of thousands of dollars to even consider doing it. Like for starters. That's not counting if you want to be like rescued off the mountain, like 80% do with helicopter, or if you're too tired to get back down after you get there. Apparently, you have to call the helicopter. You just wasted like another 20 grand. Okay. But what really shocked me the most, apart from the fact that it's not just go up on your own and get there in like a few hours, is that it takes weeks to get to the top. There's like 5 or 6 checkpoints or even more on the way up.
Yeah.
And the amount of people that die is like, I was like, okay, hold on. And so, you know what? I looked it up. I looked up deaths on Mount Everest because there's been a ton of them lately. It's been all over the news. They're like a record number this year for whatever reason.
Yeah.
And it's okay. Falls, I understand. It gives you a reason why they died. And then it tells you if they retrieved the body. That's a scary part for me. Is that a lot of them, they never retrieve the body.
It's called Rainbow Valley.
And
spot. It's where all the bodies are because they're wearing colorful clothes. Because outdoor jackets are colorful, so you can see people. Like that's why when you go to REI in the US or MEC here, wherever, like you get a big alpine jacket or whatever. It's bright yellow or bright orange or whatever, so that when you're lost in the mountain, people can find you.
That's wonderful.
That's why you don't. That's why you don't buy that kind of stuff.
They apparently used old bodies as like landmarks too. Apparently for like new hikers. But the big shocker for me was that a lot of them die not from a fall. A fall, I understand. That's a risk you take anywhere you go. Okay. The real shocker for me was that a lot of them die from illness, like altitude. That's not something you can control. That's like rolling the dice when you go up there and being like, I hope that doesn't happen to me. Like, how are you supposed to predict that? You're supposed to eat properly for a couple of months before you go up there? Are you supposed to bring oxygen tanks? Nothing you can do. So why the hell would I want to roll the dice and be like, I hope I'm not one of these people that are 40 years old. You look at the ages, they're like 20, 40, doesn't matter. It's not old geezers that are, getting their lungs crushed up there, but they're all dying from illnesses and some of them not retrieved. I'm like, not retrieved when you die from it. Okay. That's not how I want my end game to be, is not up there. I'd love to do it. And I do understand the old guys that go up there. That's like their final hurrah. They're like, if I die up here, whatever. I don't care. But for me, the fact that they all die from illnesses, hell no, man. No. I want it to be my fault that I died, not just, hey, play the odds. Maybe this won't happen. Right?
Listen, if you go to Everest and you die, it's 100% your fault. I don't care what happens. You went, all right. And despite all the documentaries, and it's like this tourist death trap, it's your fault. That's not anybody else's.
That's fair enough. Fair enough.
Yeah.
But it looks like a great adventure, but damn,
altitude sickness is real. Yeah. And that's what people, it's really hard to grasp that concept because none of us have ever been at that height, right? Like there's no mountains around here you can climb where you simulate the height of midpoint of Everest, right? Like it's so far, the Himalayas are so far beyond any other mountains on earth. So, but yeah, altitude sickness, like you can't eat or sleep or you have like insane headaches. You can't think. So it's easy for even the most experienced person, healthy person to make a mistake, right? Everest is not on my list. Like I do not have a desire to do that kind of stuff. I stay away from the more dangerous. Even around here, people do a lot of alpine, like they'll climb snowy mountains in the winter, they'll do ski touring, all that kind of stuff. Like I have zero desire to die in an avalanche or anything else, or fall in a crevice or anything. So I stay away from that kind of stuff. But it's in general, I think the wilderness is I think maybe the way to approach it, because it sounds like something that you're really keen on, and I think a lot of other people might be getting into it, especially through pandemic, right? Is that as you do more and more, as you push your comfort zone more, I think it's really important to keep it gradual. It's like don't bite off too much and just make sure you're always disciplined on your like safety, telling people where you're going. You know, like that movie, the guy who cut his arm off, right? Like, remember that guy stuck under the rock? James Franco played him in the movie. Remember 127 Hours, where he like falls in a canyon in Utah? Right. That guy didn't tell anybody what he was doing that day. Right. And this guy's going for a hike in like these dangerous canyons. Didn't tell a single freaking person where he was going, what he was doing, didn't bring enough water, didn't bring any like a satellite phone or anything like that. That's ridiculous. You know what I mean? And that guy's super experienced, but he took for granted how good he was at it and didn't realize that like literally you can just slip and be in an incredibly dangerous situation. And by all means, that guy should have freaking died, man. That guy should have died. A lot of people died doing exactly what that guy did, but he's a freaking freak and he cut his arm off. Like, that's the way he escaped death, was cutting his arm off. Like, they weren't close to finding him. Like, he just had to cut his arm off and run to other people. Like, unless you're ready to do that, you can just die. So be careful. Yeah. If you want to do that kind of stuff, but otherwise, please go do it. It's tons of fun. It's one of the best times ever to do it. There's so much gear. There's such a good culture for it. So, highly recommend it. Just be careful doing dangerous things like, you know, standing on cliffs for an Instagram photo. That's also a way that people die.
Oh man, that's exactly what I did when we went to Tobermory. Like, I was like, let me push it a little extra and be like, nah, not like that.
It's so tempting, right, to get like a cool photo or whatever. But yeah, there's some pretty scary stuff. Like a couple years ago here in BC, like a couple influencers died trying to take a photo in a waterfall, like up in Squamish. There's kind of like this nice hike. And there's a really cool like waterfall spot that you can kind of walk to the start of it, but then otherwise like a waterfall that goes off a cliff kind of thing. And it kind of has different levels. And like they got the girl to go stand there and take photos, and they're taking photos of her. And it's these three like influencers. And there's the same guy, their channel was called High on Life. And they'd already got in trouble in the States a couple years before that for driving across the salt flats in Utah, which is like federally protected, like agriculture land, like or not agriculture, but like preserved. Like, you can't drive your car on the salt flats; it destroys them. So they had gone to jail in the U.S. for doing that, and then a couple years later, they're here back in Canada taking photos. The girl went to stand on the waterfall, like at the edge of the cliff thing, and take cool photos. She slipped, was hanging on. One guy went in to get her. He slipped, started to get sucked away in the waterfall. The next guy went to grab him. All three of them fucking died. So ridiculous, man. Yeah, so you're really, really conscious with that stuff, right? But otherwise, if you are, you know, I highly recommend everybody to go have so much fun outdoors. There's so much accessible, great stuff. I think in every podcast, at least North America, Europe, wherever you're listening from, like there's so much stuff you can do out there, and it's really fun to discover. So I highly recommend it. Just be super careful, because it's a thing you don't expect is what can get you.
And for the love of God, please do not call it touching grass. I beg you, don't say that. Okay, we've already gone over this. The GMs and all that stuff, that is done with. Okay, so touching grass one always bothered me. I was like, what the hell, touching grass? Like, I get it. I get the expression. And I thought it was all right for like a week, and I'm like, no, I'm never going to use that. So anyways, please don't call it touching grass. But yeah, you should get out there. It does do a lot.
Did we do any extreme trips as kids? Like, we went camping. I remember holding a frog. Did we ever do, like, we went to Banff once, right? So I remember seeing a porcupine.
We did.
And thinking that was kind of dangerous. God. Right? Like, I remember doing that Lake Louise hike in Banff, one of the most beautiful places you could ever go in the world. It's the top destination in Canada. If you can ever make it, Lake Louise and Banff in Alberta, wonderful. But we did that. But Phil, did we do anything else that was ever like kind of dangerous as a family?
No. You don't bring your family to dangerous places.
I don't know. Some people do, man. Some people do
guess.
crazy stuff with their kids.
The only adventure I would love to go on, and I don't know if I'd bring my kids, I would love to go find mountain goats. I've always said, okay, I've got an obsession with mountain goats, because the pictures I've always seen, LG, and if you look it up on Google, it confirms it. But mountain goats, they hang on the side of mountains, like on a tiny little ledge, and they spend their entire lives there, because if they move, they die. I don't even know how they get there, to be honest with you. And I'd love to go see that for myself. But back to your question, as kids, that Banff trip to Alberta, Canada, I think was probably the closest we've come to like extreme. There was a lot of wildlife. Like you said, the wildlife would have been the issue, because right outside of some of the hotels we stayed, you'd come out. And I remember one time in that tiny little town we stayed in, someone was screaming that the mama bear and her cubs were in the town, and everyone was running like the apocalypse was happening, right?
Waterton. Yeah.
Waterton. And then all the tourists were heading towards it. and the locals were like flying away, and it was like, okay, this is a little dicey.
That's
right?
always
So-
the tourists are going to run to the wildlife. They're always going to go try.
There's
and
a
feed
mom
the
and her
bears
cubs.
stuff,
Where?
and it's like,
They're like full speed running towards it. It's like, okay. You
well,
keep
here are the
going.
goats. Here are the goats you're talking about. These are the goats.
Okay,
These
right there.
fucking dudes, man.
Okay,
This is
dude.
like some crazy shit. Like we need to. This is the kind of thing where it's like
insane,
we need
man.
to learn more lessons from nature. You know what I mean? Like we're looking for answers to life. Like how do we become better climbers? Like what's wrong with our bodies or whatever. We just need to look at nature. Like look at this freaking. Look what this dude.
Look at this. What is he
Look
doing?
at this guy.
Why though? Why? Why does
This
he want
is-
to live his
and-
life like this?
Anybody who's listening audio only, I'm not even going to post the link because you just have to type in
Just
mountain goat ledge into Google. And it's going to tell you everything you need to know. Like what this guy is doing. Like, you know, you ever see Free Solo? Is the guy who climbs El Capitan in Yellowstone, in Yosemite in California by him, like in one shot with no ropes. Phil, you should watch that next. It's insane. Like this guy does one of the most difficult climbs in the world, basically like rock climbs with no ropes. And he quits at one point and starts again because he had too much anxiety. These goats basically do this through their entire lives. Like from the second they're born, look what's happening. They're lying
live there.
vertical
They can't
against
go
a
anywhere.
flat 90-degree wall. Like that makes zero. Like what is this guy doing?
Okay, I don't know
Who's
if you
taking
were
this?
there.
But yeah.
Look, I had this argument on a Spaces. I don't think you were on the Spaces. One of the random ones I did at night. And our good friend Gina came on the Spaces and started fighting with me about this. Okay, because I brought these up. And she claims that they sit there and they like lick the minerals on the mountain. That's not true. They're literally eating the rocks. That's all they have to eat. Okay. But these animals, they hang on, like they're stuck on the mountain. They do not move from there like their whole lives, because if they move, they die. I don't know what kind of life that is. And I don't know why any animal or any living being would want to be put in that predicament. But they literally stand there, have to eat the rocks beside them. And at one point, they're just like, F it, I'm out of here. And they just, I guess, jump off.
Okay. So here's another example of how like freaking metal nature is that because these goats, they're herbivores. They don't eat small animals or anything like that, but they have predators. Right. And obviously it's really hard for like a bear or a cougar. Maybe a cougar could get them or like a mountain lion.
Oh, man.
Sure. Because they're good at that stuff. But one of their predators are eagles, like bald eagles. And I'm going to show you a video that shows you how absolutely insane nature is.
Your discretion is advised.
It's an eagle dragging a goat off a cliff to throw it to its death so that it can then eat its body. Here you go. The eagle comes in, grabs the goat by the back legs. The goat's just screaming, defenseless, like a young goat, drags his leg off a cliff.
God.
And there goes the goat. He's falling. Boom. Slams. The goat drags him into a mountaintop. And then the goat just falls. Like the camera's zooming out. You can't even see the goat land. It just falls like thousands of feet and then just rolls down a hill. And the eagle's going to go down there and pick up the pieces and be like, wow, this is yummy. I can't eat some of this. That's how nuts nature is that eagles figured that out. They were like, this thing's way too big for me. But you know what? I think I'll just drag it off a cliff and, get me some dinner. That's how extreme.
Can everyone listening tell that we are at a point in sports and NFTs right now, both where things are extremely slow to the point where we've spent the first 40 minutes of this show talking about nature and mountain goats getting killed in the bush. And I don't know. I feel like that would be interesting.
I think
to people. Based on the lack of anything happening right now.
I would say saying that the show is about sports NFTs at this point is a bit of a stretch. I would say that this is a show about you and I just as brothers talk about like whatever's going on in our lives, talk about nostalgia. And then we're at some point, for some reason that makes zero sense, we talk about a really specific part of sports gambling, which is NFTs. But otherwise it makes zero sense for us to even be talking about NFTs other than that's where it started, which is I'm very fine with that. I think there'll be cool stuff on the way, but I like this format. I kind of like chilling. And you know what, Phil, on my canoe trip, there was one of the guys who says he loves listening to the show, that he listens to it all the time. This guy doesn't give a shit about NFTs. Does not care at all. He trades stocks. But he's like, man, I love you and your brother, man. It's so good. So I think this is a show it's turning into a show for the everyman. Honestly, this is for everybody. It's sitting at work. Yeah, and we'll talk. We're talking nature safety, right? We're talking extreme animals. Oh, this is good stuff. This is broad ranging stuff that people want to, you know, maybe have a little chat about. So, yeah, I like it. But okay, so we didn't do any trips as a kid. Speaking of First Mint, actually, Phil, how was your time as the First Mint's Twitter manager?
I feel like it's not what everyone expected it to be. So when that announcement was made, I feel like the perception was I was going to take this thing over and, you know, go bonkers. But that didn't exactly happen. So first and foremost, the 4 or 5 days you were gone went by in my mind like it was like a day or two. I was really, really busy. And I did make this comment in our Discord. I said, you know, unfortunately, I'm like so busy. The first day I didn't even have a chance to post anything. And I struggled. And I understand your struggle with finding stuff to post. But then of the 4 or 5 things I posted, I did not expect people to like the last one as much as they did. Like, I don't know what it is that triggered people about spending an afternoon all alone. Okay, I had to make sure to write all alone. You can't bring your girlfriend. You can't bring anybody else. It's just you and this person. And I asked people who they would spend an afternoon with on a yacht. And it like triggered people, man.
And the answer, hold on, and just for people listening, Phil posted, and this is yesterday on Sunday, you get to spend, this is 10 a.m. And you know, I've analyzed our metrics, Phil. Sundays, First Mint posts do terribly. Like, we've just never been able to be successful on Sundays, unless it's like shocking news, which we don't have anymore.
I thought about that. I'm like, wait a minute, 1 p.m. on a Sunday, my time. This is probably gonna.
But when the content is good, Phil, it rises above. So Phil posted this on question. You get to spend the afternoon completely alone on a yacht with one of these guys. Who's your pick? And the options were Gary Vaynerchuk, Roham from Dapper, Donald Trump, and Logan Paul. Or is that Jake? Which one's
that's Jake? Some people said Logan. Okay. That's Jake.
I don't know. I honestly don't know the difference.
I think. Yeah, I don't know. I think that's Jake.
I don't know which one fights. But anyways, what the Paul brother who's a fighter who thinks he's a boxer.
They both fight though. They both fight. They're both very good. But yeah, this is the one. This is Jake.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. That's Jake.
Yeah.
I was shocked by the reaction, man. People went bonkers.
Oh, people went absolutely insane. Like, man. This was good. This was really good.
Like Roham, first of all, okay. You never find anyone say anything good about him anywhere. Okay, it's just not cool to say anything good. I would say the majority picked him. Like the majority picked him to hang out. I mean, some of them were just joking, but some felt that they would get more out of him than they would anybody else. I was also surprised by the amount that picked Donald Trump for the same reasons. They felt that they could only have an educated conversation with one of those two. And I'm like, hold on. Is that how people see Gary Vee? Like, do they see him the way I do? I don't know. I wasn't trolling when I put that, but it feels like people do, man. Right? Like, I don't know. It's not for everybody, those kinds of things. That's what I've learned over the years, right?
Okay. Well, I have a lot of comments. One, we're going to read some of the comments here because it's pretty good and to corroborate what you're saying. The other thing I'll say, and I don't mean this towards Gary Vee, I just mean this in general, is that typically I found that often whatever you think about somebody is likely what other people think
crazy,
about them.
Man.
Whether it's a celebrity or it's even someone you know, like someone at work or someone in your social circles, like typically your opinion, your impression of that person is shared. And obviously there's some people that are polarizing, right? Like someone like a Gary Vee or obviously Donald Trump, like, you know, whatever, like that, everyone has, you know, people are going to be on either side of a line that exists, but at least typically you'll have one of two opinions, but there's less a broad range of opinions. So even someone like a Gary Vee, either you're like us and you're like, well, you know, he's kind of this like motivational hustle porn gremlin guy. And he's not our cup of tea, but then there's other people who are like, he's the fucking best and I'm going to pay for every single one of his NFTs. I'm going to love him forever. But there's very few middle opinions once you consume his content. So that's all I'm going to say. So whatever.
I was going to put Hasbulla.
I don't think you'll be alone.
Like, nah, you know what? People are just going to pick
Hasbulla.
They think he's a cute little like doll.
Hasbulla is hilarious, but nobody wants to spend an afternoon on a yacht with that guy. Like, there's no chance unless it's Mike Tyson who in that video treats him like. I don't know if you ever see this video.
5-year-old. Yeah.
Hold on, let's pull that up first. Let's look at that before the responces. Now we're way off track.
That's one of the greatest videos. He actually doesn't know Hasbulla's age. Like, he has no idea.
Yes. So
thinks it's a little
for anybody who doesn't know, Hasbulla, you've definitely seen this guy as like a meme. Hasbulla is this guy, he's this Russian guy who's like 21 years old, I don't remember the name of the disease that he has, but it pretty much it's like some form of like dwarfism where he looks like a 4-year-old chubby kid. And you've seen him in a bunch of memes. And he's actually signed, he went on like a huge press tour last year or this year in the US where he like signed a big deal with the UFC to be one of their promoters. And then also like hung out with all these celebrities, what are those? The Nelk brothers, right? Nelk boys. He hung out with them.
Yeah.
And then he hung out with Mike Tyson. And I'm just going to roll this where, you know, he obviously knows who Mike Tyson is. But where Mike Tyson doesn't know who he is clearly because he treats Hasbulla the way that he would treat him if he was what he looked like he's a 4-year-old child. So let's watch the clip. Let's watch below. Here we go.
Both creepy.
We got the sound. So Hasbulla is trying to punch Tyson. Tyson's dodging it.
I don't
like
see
a
anything
boxer.
or hear anything, LG.
Oh, you
it's
can't.
frozen. It's frozen for me.
Oh, okay. It's frozen. Okay, hold on. Let me try that
I don't
again.
hear or see anything.
No, it's not working. Okay, let me try that again.
It's so good. It's like, but even if he thought he was a little kid, like, is that appropriate to do to a little child these days? Like, we get his intentions. Maybe we don't. But
okay, all right. Here we go. This is it. Here we go.
There we go.
You hear it? Yeah.
So
he's trying to hit. He's trying to punch Tyson. And Tyson's like dodging it, and then he's actually hitting him. Like Hasbulla,
he doesn't care.
Whoa! And then Tyson.
Hell, man.
So Tyson, people listening, I'll put the link in the comments.
That's awesome.
Tyson then grabs him and turns him around and like bear hugs him onto his lap, and then starts like kind of like kissing his neck, which is what you would do with a child.
No.
You know what I mean? Like you'd grab. You would do, but you would do with your own child. Let's say. You know what I mean? Like you're playing a little kid, and you're like, you know, like because you're like, oh, like I'm tickling them, you know, and that's like something you do with like a 2-year-old, right? And a 2-year-old, you know, incredibly well, like incredibly well. Like it's your own kid, it's your niece or your nephew, or it's a kid you hang out with like all the friggin' time. You know what I mean? Like it's an extreme level of comfort. These two have never met. Here, it's pause framed here, and Tyson is like kissing him, like he's tickling him.
Got you. All right.
And Tyson is holding his arm. Like it's
so he doesn't get punched again.
The abuse. Okay.
What the hell?
Hasbulla looks messed up.
Man.
And then Tyson puts his hand up for a high five like Hasbulla is 2 years old.
So let's be honest though. Mike Tyson actually dodged a massive bullet here. He did. Had that been a real 5-year-old child and not his or someone he knows, that kind of kissing and like holding from behind and weird stuff like that, you'd be in big trouble. You know, you're not the Dalai Lama there who's licking people's tongues and stuff and can get away with that. So that was also disturbing. But I don't know if to me that's disturbing. He thought that it was a little kid. He's
nobody
cute,
told him.
but
I think the problem nobody told him in advance like what was actually going on. So I think that was I don't know. He needs a better like PR manager or something like that to like give him a heads up when he's actually like dealing with, you know, a real child he's not versus like an actual grown man. Anyways, Phil, that was a fantastic post on Twitter. That was the end of that. I don't know how we got on top of the end of that, but that was a great post all the way back to you know, who would you spend an afternoon on a yacht with? Some of the answers were completely alone. Trump for sure. V is too creepy. Roham is a lie, and Paul is annoying. At least Trump is funny.
Oh my God.
Roham only because of the caveat. Completely alone with. I feel he would be the one to stop trying to engage with me the soonest while I try and enjoy my time on the yacht. Another answer. And Trump is probably the least arrogant of the three with a crying laugh face. Wow. Shots fired at, I don't know, everybody. I don't know. That's pretty good. That's
crazy.
Phil, you had some other good posts. Hold on. Let's look at
I feel LG right back to that though. I feel like Donald Trump. It's weird because I've never hidden the fact that I like him. I don't agree with everything he says and does. I don't agree with his delivery sometimes and all that. but I do like him because you know me, I love entertainment. And for me, he is like the #1 entertainer on the planet. But I feel like what you said earlier is true. I feel like a lot of people actually like him. But they're either too afraid to say it or they just don't want to back his chaos because, again, the way he does things is just like, it's so messy, right? And it's kind of not cool to like him. But I've grown to know I've come to know over the last 4 years now that he's an actually popular guy, no matter what people say. All right. A lot of people hate him, and I totally understand it, but people like the guy. And I think it has to do with the entertainment value he's brought over the years. And it reflected in the votes a couple times now with elections that, you know, we thought it was a joke the first time he ran. We're like, oh, what a joke. This freaking guy, this billionaire from TV, is like, what a joke. And then and then not only does he win, but, you know, he came close the second time. So
Bill,
I think there's a hit.
Listen, you know who paved the way for Trump? You know who paved the way? He's also one of your faves, and he's not with us anymore. It's Rob Ford, the mayor of Toronto.
Oh, but same thing.
Because
right?
Rob Ford was one of the first people who was like a high in office person, and then terrible news came out about him. For Rob Ford, it was that there's a video of him smoking crack with a gang. And he didn't really, he like denied it, but it was pretty obvious that it was true because it was from the Toronto Star, a reputable source, and like a whole story about the journalist getting in a car with the gang members, and they showed her the video because I know they're trying to extort Rob Ford. And even when the video came out and it was clear that it was him and everything, he continued on. He's like, I don't give a shit. I'm not going to resign. And he was one of the first people to have like an absolutely berserk PR scandal and just say, I don't give a shit. I'm just going to stay in office, and you literally can't make me leave unless you go through all the impeachment stuff. And that, I feel like that was like 5 years maybe before the Trump election. I feel like that paved the way because obviously Trump, a lot of things happened in that time, but some other, nasty old videos came out of him. But the part where he's like, whatever, like that was so like up until that point, everybody was like cancel culture. Oh, you said fuck while you were at a press conference. You have to step down. Like, all these insane things. That was like, it was too extreme. And that was like, he became the champion of like, oh, you have some dark past. You have to leave. And he was like, I'm going to stay. And I think that was, he couldn't have done that without Rob Ford. And probably the part where he didn't care is what won him a lot of votes. And politics is also like, it's a popularity contest. It's awful. But at the end of the day, as much as politicians put together good and terrible platforms and live, keep the promises, don't keep the promises, all that kind of stuff. Like people at the very core just kind of vote on like who they kind of vibe with, honestly. And that's how you see some very shocking election results sometimes. And I don't necessarily disagree. Like that's kind of how we're wired. Like I don't know anybody, maybe a handful of people who before an election actually go and read the platforms of the candidates in their riding or in their county or whatever. Like, yeah, it's a design that doesn't necessarily work in the modern world. I don't know what works better for democracy, but it's a little challenging. But I'm glad you put Trump in there. Yeah, it's good. It's good. Clearly, still people rather Trump than the rest of these guys.
It's wild to me. But one thing you overlooked, LG, is the amount of people who asked if they could jump off the boat at any point. And like that was actually a serious question by many: is can we just bail on the boat? Like, are we in the middle of shark-infested waters, or can we get back to shore? Because I would jump over rather than
one person wrote, can I die instead?
See? So that's some pretty wild. I don't know. Who would you pick, LG? Like, who would you want to
man.
Like if you had to pick one of you guys and spend 5 hours, just you and him launched.
Oh, it's a 5-hour trip.
It's a 5-hour afternoon.
Spend the afternoon. Yeah, I guess like 1 till 12 till 5, 1 till 6 kind of thing. I would probably also go Trump. Let me be honest with you. Like that's the person I'd be out of everybody there. I'd be most curious to see what he's like when he's just one-on-one, honestly. Because I think a lot of it, a lot of it's for show. Gary V would just stare at his phone the whole fucking time and then just make selfie videos where he looks like he hasn't slept in like 10 years. And he's like, if you're not fucking hustling all the time, what the fuck are you doing? Pull that shit. Roham, I spent an hour with Roham once. Like, I'm good. I've hung out with him. I feel like I get him and I'm good. The Paul brothers is awful. Like he'd probably just try and do all these stunts and get all these women on to show how cool he is. Like it's too much. So Trump, out of all these guys, Trump is probably most used to being on a yacht. right? That's nothing new for him. So he won't like be trying to, make content out of the experience or anything like that. So I would go Trump. Trump would be my top, and probably Gary Vee would be my last. So then Roham and Paul are in the middle there.
There weren't too many women answering that post. I noticed that. I didn't find. I don't think.
Well,
I found
they're
a
all dudes. They
single
put all
one.
dudes, right? They don't want to go with any of these
Well,
guys.
I thought that maybe one would be like, maybe Jake Paul's cute. I like to take him out to the water.
Nobody thinks
Trump,
that.
you'd have to be worried about that. Same with Gary Vee and maybe the other two. So yeah, but what did you think of the choice of pictures that were used? Some people asked me why
really want to talk about
why
this.
Roham was the only one who got like kind of a decent picture out of these.
What is this photo of Roham? Where did you get this? So it's like Roham's standard like LinkedIn shot, which doesn't really look like him as much anymore, but where he's like just wearing this nice white dress shirt. He's looking, it does look, yeah. I'd say Roham looks more like he's been to war. Let's put it that way. Like everybody in crypto, if you take a photo 3 years ago versus now, we all look like we just went to World War I and we're one of the only survivors. Okay. So this is clearly a photo of Roham like, oh, we're about to launch NBA Top Shot, 3 years ago today. Let's go take some nice headshots. That's what this photo of Roham is. But it has this like sparkly star background. How did you do that? Did you do that?
I didn't
do
that.
Find that?
No, I found
How'd
that.
you find that?
I was looking for a bad picture of him, but there aren't too many out there. And I used to have a picture that someone's was circulating from him on a private jet, like devouring a watermelon. Do you remember that one? Where he's in the background on the private jet with the Genies.
You mean
guys?
with Genies guys? Yeah.
That's what it was.
Destroying his food. Yeah, absolutely murdering whatever. He's like sushi or water. Yeah, exactly. And
but then people would not know who that is.
The guy from Genies took it's like the most unflattering photo of Roham you could ever imagine. It's like from the side, and he's like his like neck is like retreated, like his chin's retreating into his neck, and he's like trying to eat this thing.
The whole
the guy from Genies is like, this will be hilarious to post on social media.
Yeah,
like
he's literally deep throating a piece of watermelon is what he's doing. Okay? For whatever reason, got the whole half the fork is in his throat. Anyways, so Roham, that's all I could find. And I had to have it where people know who that is. Gary Vee, he put that picture out there, so I didn't go looking for anything in a while. That was one of the first things that showed up. And then the Donald, that's like one of my favorite pictures of him. The ones where he's like, that's like a big like fuck yeah pic, but I was surprised by the amount of people that actually there was 2 or 3 responses, LG, where they said, I only know one of these 4 people. I have no clue who the hell the other 3 are. Who do you think they were referring to? I would say Donald Trump, obviously, right?
I don't think Paul is as known as people think.
He's not. He's actually not.
I don't
You're
think
right.
so.
Yep.
Yeah, I think like if you're in sports and you follow sports often,
that's about it.
Then, but he's still like just like honestly, I think in general, like at the end of the day, like Jake Paul is still just a YouTube influencer, just trying to punch above his weight. No pun intended, but intended too. Like I think he hasn't done anything, honestly.
LG is going to get the contract now from Jake Paul's agent.
Yeah,
wants to fight LG.
I'm not going to fight.
Wants to fight another influencer.
If I can get equal training time that he's had, and be rich off NFT scams like he is, and drink scams, then yeah, I'll happily take that fight if I get the same advantage he does, then I'll beat the shit out of him 100%. I'll win that fight. But yeah, I think Gary, and another person that nobody knows is Gary Vee. You'd be surprised how few people know who that guy is. You didn't know who he was before you.
I had no clue.
No clue. I think you step out. He's only known in crypto because he was there early, and then otherwise, unless like the only way you knew who Gary Vee was before crypto is if you're the kind of person who spent like 4 hours a week on LinkedIn reading like hundreds of motivational quotes, trying to get yourself pumped up to start a business while you work at your shitty job, and reading books like how to unfuck yourself and like the 12 ways of good habits to hustle other people or whatever the fuck those are. Like that's the only way you know about Gary Vee. Before that is if you it's kind of like he's kind of like the Gremlins Tony Robbins, honestly. If you know who Tony Robbins is, right? Like motivational guru from like 25 years ago.
That I knew.
That's kind of like Gary Vee saw that and was like, what we need is not as muscular or like big and handsome kind of guy. I think it'll be better if I look like I haven't slept in 10 years and I have a backwards hat on and I speak in a raspy voice. But Gary Vee, I will say, tons of respect for him. He's incredibly freaking good at what he does. Who would you say? Actually, here's a question for you, Phil. Out of those 4 guys, Gary Vee, Roham, Donald Trump, and Jake Paul, who is the best at what they do?
Well, for me, oh man. Well, it's not Roham because he's obviously rubbed a lot of people the wrong way, and
Yeah.
he was a popular option. I was actually shocked
Yeah.
people picked him because
Yeah.
he took so much flack after that AMA and all that I'm like, man,
Yeah.
nobody likes this guy. But you had
Yeah.
half the people saying they would go spend an afternoon on the yacht with him, right?
Mhm.
I have to go with Jake Paul because you said, I mean, it's hard though because they all have their own way of kind of not Rohan, but the other three, they're kind of irrelevant, but they found a way to kind of keep themselves relevant. What for right and wrong reasons. Jake Paul should be a nobody. Okay. But guess what? If you were to ask people which fight they're the most excited about in everything combined, UFC and boxing for the upcoming year, they'll usually pick the Jake Paul fight. Jake Paul fight will be top 3. Jake Paul versus Nate Diaz will be one of the most anticipated and watched fights in 2023. Why though? Like, who is this guy? He just lost. But does it matter? No, it doesn't. Because
I think,
he's learned kind of, he knows how to keep himself relevant.
Yeah.
And it's hard. That's unbelievable to me, right? Like now they've got these drinks that have taken off. These prime drinks.
Prime.
Out of nowhere.
Official
man.
drink of the UFC. Yeah.
Like nobody needed another energy drink. Nobody needed another Gatorade type drink. But somehow they found a way to have every kid on the planet looking for this drink. And they're still looking for it. And guess how much they cost? Like $3-4 at the store, man.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
What is that? What?
Phil,
right?
Phil,
So
I'm sorry to interrupt you.
Oh,
but there's breaking news.
Yes.
And we actually have a special guest who's joining us right now on the podcast. Are you ready?
No, I'm
Please
ready.
welcome back to the First Mint, Arsonic.
Hey.
Hey.
How the hell did he know we were on? Hold on. Is this thing live on YouTube?
No, it's not. It's not live on YouTube.
So how did he know?
I just had to tell him, man. He's on to talk about the first ever shitcoin on Flow. He's going to tell us all about it. But also, Phil, I didn't want to. Phil told me specifically before we started recording. He's like, "Don't tell me anything that's happening on the show today." So I
never tell me. I tell you this all the time.
I didn't say anything. Yeah.
Oh, so you had this plan. He didn't just hit you up, be like, "Bring me on the show."
No. We talked. Honestly, we planned it for like 10 minutes before the show.
Plan.
There's no plan. There's no plan. I was like, if you can make it, make it. Because for people who don't know, there's a shitcoin, which shitcoins have been very popular for the last like month and a half on Ethereum in general.
They're
back. But there's finally one on Flow, and Arsonic is clearly behind it. Even though today I was asking him like a million questions, like, "What's up with this shitcoin?" He keeps trying to get us to promote it on First Mint, and I was like, "You know what? Just come on the podcast, and we can grill the shit out of you on it, and you can tell, and you can promote your shitcoin as much as you want." But also, Phil, I figured it'd be a good treat to have one of our first ever podcasts join us for a quick segment. During a pre-recorded show, because we don't do these live anymore.
No, but also one of the most popular live shows we've ever done, LG, was the live show where Arsonic was revealing to his wife, Julie, the value of his Top Shot account. Now, whether we want to talk about that now, Arsonic, or not, we probably don't.
Well, there's a lot to say there because Arsonic has been selling a lot of his Top Shot.
Actually, we need an update on that. Yeah. We got to get to that.
Oh, that's and he's saying it's to invest in other projects, and somehow at the same time the shitcoin comes out, putting two and two together. You get to, he's getting a little nervous. Arsonic hasn't said a word yet. He's been staring at us for like 3 minutes already.
In his Lambo. He's waiting.
In his Lambo, in his Lambo.
I'm fascinated that show is still one of the most popular one you guys.
Oh, of course, man. People were dying to see the reaction, and they're dying to see what would happen to you after that. But
we should do another one with we should do another one with how much it's value right now.
I'll tell you what we'll do, Arsonic. We should do an auction, a live auction for your moments. You auction them off to people. If anybody shows up.
Yeah, exactly.
Wow.
Arsonic, what's up, man? What are you, why are you, dude? Tell us about where you are right now, what this car is you're in, why you're wearing a big pink sweatshirt, man. Like, tell us how your life's going.
And we need a hockey
update, I'm in midlife crisis, I guess, with my pink shirt. That's what my wife told me, at least.
That's so good.
No, I was on my way to get the kids, but I had to stop to get on with you guys. And what I'm up to. Hockey, we lost in final, unfortunately, but
Wow.
Oh yeah, because this time last year we got a picture of you with the trophy. We didn't get anything this year.
We got a Pope.
Whoa.
That LG setup. Is
Oh.
it LG or you, Phil, that set up the Pope with me and
Oh yeah, yeah,
that's
no,
right.
yeah,
That's
yeah.
right. Yeah, Phil. Yeah, the POAP with Arsonic. It was Arsonic's
POAP,
photo.
yeah.
Yeah,
But
for
the
Yeah,
some
yeah,
reason.
yeah. Oh yeah. That was me for sure. There's no way. LG, like he gave me the power to set one up. He's like, just do this one time. He's like, come up with something cool. And you had just sent us the picture. I'm like, oh, this is going on there, 100%. I wonder how many of those were minted, man. That thing's rare. I think it's like
I don't know.
It
Yeah,
can't be
thing's
too many.
rare.
Yeah.
Here
Okay,
it is. Hold
so
on,
what
I
else?
have the- hold on, wait.
Oh,
I
here
have
we
the
go.
POAP. Here it is. Here it is. This is the POAP from last year. It's almost a year ago, Arsonic. It's from May 25th, 2020.
That's what I mean. Oh,
And
why?
it's first
I'm in a
show,
way
first
better
minute
shape
live
right
show,
now, guys.
Revamped.
revamped, episode 2. The revamp
why?
lasted 4 episodes, and this is it's wang. And then Arsonic is wearing a very sweaty blue Coors Light T-shirt and holding a
149 were
giant,
minted.
like an NHL style cup, like it, not Stanley Cup, but it looks like the Art Ross Trophy or something
It's a
like that.
cup.
Like it looks like you
Yeah.
just won best score in the NHL or something.
Was that the same time we pulled up Arsonic hockey videos, or was that another time? I think
No, that was
another time,
recently.
right?
That was
recent.
recently
Yeah.
that we looked at Arsonic's like huge checker, his sweet goal on the one team, and it honestly looks like
In
they're
slow-mo.
moving like
In
yeah,
slow motion.
exactly. Yeah.
We were like, "What?" You know what,
I
though,
don't know.
Arsonic? To your defense, though.
Oh wait, no,
noticed
hold on.
a
I
lot-
have the video. Hold on, wait. Here it is.
I
We
know
can
this from watching a lot of hockey
I literally
videos
have it.
that it always looks slower on video. I don't know what it is. It's weird, man. The videos
Well, we
always
look
make it look like
slower
they're slow.
Outside
But
of the ice,
LG
so-
agreed. This was pretty bad, Arsonic. We don't know what the hell.
You want to
kind of
watch
guys
it?
you're
You want to
playing
watch
against.
it? You want to watch it again? You want to watch this video? Again?
Absolutely. Roll the tape.
Should be able to unmute yourself. You can talk over it. All right, so here we go. Arsonic, what number? Who miss? Is that you that misses the net like that? I can't hear you. You have to unmute yourself. Oh, Arsonic with the moves. There we go. Oh!
Wow. That was insane. That was a pass, LG. That wasn't a missed shot. If that's a missed shot, that's one of the worst shots we've ever seen in our life, man.
That
That was for
Yeah,
sure a
man.
pass, dude. But I also don't know anyone who passes like you have an open shot to the net and you pass the behind the
And you
net.
pass it around the net. Yeah.
But it worked. Look, it led to a goal. So
Yeah.
we need more of those, man. You need to get more videos for us. We love that.
Arsonic, why are you
Yeah.
selling your Top Shot account? Because you're selling like how much you currently, the fair market value even still now on Live Token is 200 grand, but you've been selling like crazy. Tell us about that.
Yeah, I guess I decided it was time for me to reallocate those funds. I don't know right now. I've been buying some stuff around, but yeah, I don't know. I was just having that money sitting there for how many years now?
Long time, man. That
It's
episode
true.
with Judy,
It's
your
true,
wife,
man.
was like a year and a half ago. Like it's a
Oh,
long time ago, and your account was worth like $2-3
Depressing,
million.
man.
She couldn't believe it. But clearly
Yeah.
it probably gone down like crazy since then.
So yeah,
You're
I just
selling
decided,
you're
yeah.
selling some good stuff, man. You sold a
Oh, yeah.
LeBron Series 1 Hollow,
Mhm.
serial number 3 for 18 grand. That's huge. Congratulations, by the way. It's
Really?
getting
Oh,
some stuff.
Arsonic, you
It was a
sold
good
this.
sale, yeah.
You sold this since your post about selling everything?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow. Nice. And the best part is, Arsonic, this is US dollars, right?
Mhm.
Exactly.
For us Canadians, that's a good deal, man.
It's like millions of dollars. Yeah.
It's like 3 times.
It's still
yeah.
millions in Canadian. Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow. So
But yeah,
what's the
I've been-
what's the feedback been like? The feedback, how's it been? Like, are people panicking because you're kind of selling everything? Like, what have people been
Not
saying?
at all. I think it's been a lot better than when Handy did it or Lee Brewery did it. I've not
Mhm.
got any hate comment or anything.
Oh, that's
I
good,
think
man.
People are
Mhm.
getting used to it, I would say.
Mhm.
People know
and
you. You're
just,
genuine too. People know. People know what's up,
Exactly.
man. You've been loyal
I'll
for a
give
long
back.
time to this stuff.
I'll give back. I'll be buying some shitcoin and give some back away.
You love the shit coins. LG loves that
love
you
them.
love the shit coins.
Well, this is how this whole guest spot started, as that Arsonic was like, please promote this shitcoin. And I was like, what the, I don't even, I was like, listen, man, I just came out of the fucking bush. Like, I have no idea what's going on. You want me to promote, like, and you know, Flow has always been like, oh, this is the place for consumer brands. Like Disney's going to be here.
Yeah, that's
oh,
it.
NBA. And then I come back and it's like, oh, there's shitcoins now. Like the best way to lose your money. And like the most back to Wild West stuff. So, I mean, Arson, you could tell us about what's it called? LOPPY?
It's
Actually,
sloppy.
I did
It's
see you
called
post
LOPPY.
something.
It's called LOPPY, but with the dollar sign, it means sloppy.
Sloppy.
So,
Why is it called
yeah.
sloppy? Why is the coin called sloppy?
because the guys who did it are very sloppy. Actually, I have nothing to do behind
sold.
that coin.
I hope you're not the
Um,
spokesperson.
Also is the one who created it, and I think Luke is the co-signer on it. So
Dumbo?
yeah, yeah, I think so.
So wait, hold on. A
Definitely
person that
sloppy
works
coin.
a person that works at Dapper and their job is to promote Flow
Well,
created
they
the
said
shit
Luke-
coin on Flow.
They said Luke, so I'm just spreading a rumor.
No, that's him.
I'm not sure. That's it.
We haven't heard from that guy
Wow.
in months. I swear he's vanished. I haven't
Oh,
heard
yeah.
from him in forever.
They
Seriously.
buried
No.
him on
So,
the,
yeah,
Flow,
I don't
on the
know.
Flow team.
I
That's
don't know
what
if
they
it's
did.
Dumbo or not. But yeah, it's the
Wow.
first shitcoin on Flow, so it
Okay.
has to be.
And
Has
how
to
do
be
we
good.
how do we get some? How do we
Yeah,
get
how do you
get
get
other
some?
than
That's a good question.
talking to Arsonic, because Arsonic's like, just please let's do a giveaway of sloppy coin. So Arsonic clearly knows how to get it somehow. How do I if
Yeah,
I want to
well-
buy it, can I go do that? Like what's the supply? Like tell us a little bit more.
Yeah, I think the supply is 10K supply, and it's a DAO. The DAO actually on half the supply, I would say, around that. So only 5K in circulations.
Wow.
5K sloppy in circulation,
Okay.
which is crazy. I haven't seen many coins with that.
Yeah,
low of
coins
supply.
like Pepe was what, like 20 trillion quintillion or something like
Trillions,
that. Like
yeah,
it was like
exactly.
trillions of coins. So there's only 5. So it's 10K supply. Half of it is held by
Yeah.
Floaty, like the platform.
No.
founded with Mike?
Floaty doesn't have anything to do in this. It's
Oh.
a DAO created by Oxo. Floaty, we just integrated it on the
Okay.
platform, so you can bid with Sloppy on Top Shot Moment.
Wow.
That's it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So
And-
you can earn
and-
some that way. So Alexo, who's a super collector, is the one who created this. We can buy it. The only way to get it that I know of right
On
now,
Increment.
Arsonic, Incrementify,
Yeah.
which is like a DeFi platform that serves Flow. So I'm just going to pull it up here, so you can go and buy it here. And again, not financial advice. This is the
Yeah,
shittiest
no.
of shit coins. But you can go and trade Flow for it. You can't connect your Dapper, which I think is going to disappoint a lot of people. It'll be easier if you can connect your Dapper.
I
So you have
hope
to
it's
connect your
coming. I hope
your
it's coming.
Blockto. Everybody loves their Blockto wallet. So you can connect your
Yep.
Blockto. But if you want, let's see, the price of one LOPPY is 24 Flow right now. Do you need
So-
24 Flow to get one LOPPY?
If I can connect my Blockto, can I use the funds from that MotoGP stuff? All the
Yes.
stuff I sold? I
You'll
can
have to-
actually
you'll have
connect
to-
those close?
You have to
Hey.
swap it from Rev because it's probably that's probably
Nice.
in Rev.
It's
which
in
is
Rev,
here.
yeah.
Yes. So
Oh, you
if
can
have
do
Rev-
that?
Yes. So
Oh
this
my
is so this
goodness.
Incrementify is actually
Are
pretty
we
cool. It's
earning
like
anything from the MotoGP?
I
sold
say,
some.
Arsonic,
Those.
if you have some, sell them, man. People are buying those because they started like their races
Really?
this year. And people are doing races,
Oh.
but I don't even know what the hell's going on. So I'm like, you know what? I'm going to send all these guys out of here. And I've made a lot of Rev. I just have no clue what to do with Rev. I don't even know what that is. It's just sitting there. I have no idea how
Exactly.
this works.
You might not be
Wow.
able to. There might not be. The thing is that there has to be a liquidity pool for you to be able to trade
Ah, okay.
your Rev.
Yeah.
So what you could do is try and trade the Rev for something else, and then trade that to Flow. Like
Sloppy?
trade the Rev to Flow, and then trade the Flow to.
I'll
to
trade you the
Sloppy.
Rev for Sloppy.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah. So I bought some. I'll be honest with you. I bought
picture?
some
Is that a
sloppy.
steak?
I bought some sloppy earlier.
Wow.
I spent
You did?
40 flows worth. And
Here
I
we
got
go.
one
Everyone's gonna
for
flood
sloppy,
there and
and
buy
it's gone
some.
up. It's gone up a little bit since I bought.
Because
it's
people
gone up a
follow
little
what
bit.
you do.
Well, they should.
I think I'm down on my Sloppy.
Come on, man.
Please
But-
buy more. LG.
Yeah, LG, give financial advice to everybody. Go buy some now. It's about to
That's
skyrocket.
pretty much what these have turned into, is that our shows are now just financial advice. There's no redemptions to buy, unfortunately, this week. I'm sure you could, but that part's over. But yeah, pretty much these have turned into financial advice. So it's not financial advice, but you should definitely buy as much sloppy as you can. And Arsonic promises that if you buy some and you DM him, he'll match the amount that you bought. He'll get, so if you buy $2,000 worth of sloppy, he'll give you $2,000 worth of sloppy, right, Arsonic? That's what you said.
Maybe I do some raffle. Can we do? Is it legal to do some raffle? Top Shot for sloppy.
Just there's no raffles. There isn't a single raffle on NFT social media that's legal. None of those raffles are legal. All that is super fucking. Even the things we do, like giveaway, retweet this, like that is super illegal to do that.
For real? Jeez.
Yeah, you can't
I'm
just
going
do a
to jail.
lottery. Like you can't
Come
just
on,
do like
who's gonna audit
that?
that? Like seriously,
yeah, no,
who's gonna
nobody
say
cares. No,
Get
that's
outta here.
social media like to a T. But that's why whenever you do like a Top Shot raffle or something like that, you have to go read the terms and conditions, and you can have an entry by like mailing them a postcard or whatever. It's like it's not you have to go through all that. Anyways. Okay, so Arsonic, what are you gonna get? What are you gonna give? You know what we can do is actually we can give it away to the winner of Hot Take of the Week or something like that.
Oh, Arsonic's like, what the hell is that?
Or we can do a raffle. It doesn't matter. We can do something else. I don't care. Arsonic, what do you want people to do with the coin? Arsonic, what do you want people to do with the coin? What once they have it, what do they do? Just trade it? Is there anything else?
Well, right now they can use it on Floaty to buy Top Shot moments. I've seen people listing moments for sloppy.
That's true. Yeah. Really?
So-
Are you serious?
Yeah.
What the hell? That's insane. What the hell? I didn't even know you could do that.
Utility already, man.
That's crazy.
More utility than a lot of stuff around.
Wow.
Phil, you know what else you can buy on Floaty is Genies.
Oh, get the hell out of here! Are you serious?
Here we go. Let's go take a look at the Genies marketplace. You guys are Genie ambassadors number 1 and 2. Every single person who's in Genies has spoken to you guys for their
6 months. We'll
entrance.
never get back in our lives.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
You guys are Genies
still have the
ambassadors
cap,
number
though.
1 and 2.
You still have the cap? Do you? Or did you throw yours out
No,
the window?
I lost it in Miami.
Get out of here! Are you serious? Oh my god!
Yeah.
So there's only one of them out there, and I have it. That's it. We only had 2 before.
Yep.
Oh, this is so LG. Are people buying this stuff or no?
I don't know if people are buying it, but you
I don't
can.
think
People are listing it on Blockto, so you can. So Blockto is just kind of like listing everything that Flow projects have tried to not have listed as a marketplace so far. So pretty much anything in Dapper Wallet you can sell and buy and sell on Blockto. It's just there's just not that as many users there yet. But I think over time, you know, I love Mike and everything he's doing, and Arsonic, I don't know how involved you are with Floaty. Sorry, not Blockto, Floaty. I don't know. I don't know how involved you are there, but I think what they're doing is great, and I think
You know, we did that Genie stuff, LG, for what was it, Arsonic, like 3-4 months or whatever it was.
Yeah.
And there was a day where Arsonic and I connected, and we were just like, okay, what are we doing? Like, what's the end game here? Like, what exactly are we doing? I don't know. I feel like this is like, I don't know. We both kind of realized at the same time, maybe it's time to scale back a bit. You know, it's becoming summertime. Do we want to be inside whatever days a week doing interviews with people? I think we're running out of people anyways, right?
Yeah.
And it doesn't seem like anything's happened since. I feel like it's been on standstill ever since we just kind of stopped those interviews. There's been nothing, right? I know, LG, you're all over this. You're always saying stuff to the Genies account and stuff like that. So.
Well, the other day, Genies tweeted about how the what's the CEO's name? What's his name?
Akash.
Well, he went on the news. Somehow he went on the news, even though they took, they raised $90 million and haven't done anything other than release a bunch of random NFTs and have you guys work for them, or not even you guys didn't work for them. They just forced you. They just got you guys to do the interviews and gave you hats. He went on the news to talk about how sick Genies was and how they're building the freaking avatars of the future or whatever. And I commented on the news story. I'm just trying to pull it up. Where I was like, okay, like, what are we supposed to do with the freaking hundreds of things that we bought on Genies?
Yeah. I saw that.
Here it is. Hold on. Here it is.
Classic.
I'm just
LG.
waiting for my Pac-Man to reveal.
Oh, the Pac-Man. That's like freaking 3 years ago, man. It's like 1 million years ago they sold us those Pac-Mans. Here we go. So here it is.
Oh my God.
Today we're announcing the launch of our developer kit application, right? So people come and build on Genies, which is great. And there's Akash, and he's, looks like he has been, kind of on vacation for a couple of years. And then, hold on, where's my comment? Where is it? Here we go. And then I wrote, hey, great. What about all that random stuff we bought? And Izzy, who's the co-founder with Akash, he responded within 30 minutes. And he said, LG, those will always be the first NFTs in our ecosystem and will work interoperably across our entire network. And that's it.
So
and I just wrote back a GIF of when. And
that was it.
I don't know. That's it. Yeah, that's the end of the line. He didn't say anything.
So Arsonic, actually, how do you feel about that? Do you feel that Genies is something that, you know, I know we're on kind of a pause with a lot of NFT stuff, but do you feel that in the future, since they seem to still be building, I don't know, what are your thoughts? Do you still have hope for Genies and what they've done since, you know, they've mentioned that Snapchat and stuff like that is their main target, and that's still huge. Like the kids love Snapchat. They like, I know this from my daughter, like they have these competitions where to keep up with other people, they need to be snapping so many times a day or to certain people, or else they like fall off the face of the earth. So do you think it's got a shot still compared to other NFT projects? Or sorry, you can't call it a project. That's a big no-no with Genies. You know, do you think it still has a shot?
They don't let you call it a project? Is that
Oh my
true?
God, I said that once and all hell broke loose. Yeah.
Yeah.
You got to find that.
What is it?
tweet,
What are they
man.
supposed to call it? Like a dream or an application, or what do they want you to call it?
I had to always try and not say project during the interviews and stuff and call it like a venture or a, you know, I don't know. It was hard, man.
I was
like,
so
I don't
bad
know.
too. I don't know, man.
Wow.
At this point, they
tough,
better hurry up, I would say, because
Yeah.
someone else coming.
Yeah.
I mean, even
true.
Snapchat, they've been adding stuff and things like that. So
They got their own thing.
Yeah. I don't know.
Wow.
So
Wow.
even if a marketplace opened right now, like a regular one, not floaty, I don't know who would be buying these. Right? Seriously.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Right? Like, what's the
I mean,
incentive?
it's all over. It's all over the NFT ecosystem right now. Everything's down and not
Yeah,
too popular, but it's even worse over there.
it's true. Yeah.
Arsonic, I know you got to go pick up.
I haven't seen any news or anything.
There's
I
nothing.
haven't seen any
No.
news on my timeline or anything from them. So I don't
Arsonic, you probably have to go pick
Yeah.
up your kids, so I don't want to keep you too long.
They're just inside the school.
know. Yeah, they are
So-
outside right now. reading.
Teachers are like, hey, Moji,
They're just-
where's this guy? Bad parents. It's not a
Yeah.
babysitting club.
No.
Are you Arsonic? Maybe the question a lot of people are wondering is, are you keeping any Top Shot at all? Is there anything you're keeping, or are you fire selling every single item?
I will fire sell everything
Nice.
except the Zellers.
That's all that
I'm
matters.
keeping all the Zellers. Yeah.
This guy played in the game last night. I'm like, hold on, is that Cody Zeller?
Oh, yeah.
Hold on a second here.
Yeah.
What,
Dude,
I didn't even know
I
he's still friggin'
picked
playing.
Zeller and So Rare this week for the finals.
Oh wow.
I
There
put
you
Cody
go.
Zeller in because I knew that they need they'd go deep into the big man roster to do anything against Jokic or just put somebody out there. So
it's a good
I
call.
knew I knew Bam would be exhausted trying to defend Jokic. So I figured he'd get a couple minutes. So he got a couple points in So Rare. I didn't watch because I was camping, but yeah, he was out there. And for anybody that doesn't know, I don't know how you would not know this listening at First Mint, but Arsonic went on a mission 2.5 years ago to collect as many Cody Zellers as he could on Top Shot, and still the leading owner of Cody Zellers on Top Shot.
And they're back cheap now. Maybe I do a
We'll definitely take some sloppy coin way before we take any
Yeah.
Zellers. Okay, Arsonic?
That's sad.
We want sloppy coins.
That
not,
is
not
sad.
Zellers. Please, no Zellers.
The things that Arsonic was trading in order to get Zellers back was like, that was a good deal back then. Now I'm not so sure anybody be doing anything. The people are probably burning them now. So,
I mean, yeah.
man, that's crazy. I
Zellers
can't
were
believe
$100 a pop at some point.
That was crazy.
I
Yeah,
can't
that
believe
was-
what this has come to. This is
Yeah.
insane. But you know what though, Arsonic, I will always associate you when it comes to Top Shot to the Cody Zellers thing. So, you know, I actually, until you announced you were selling everything, I didn't even know what you owned. Like I had no idea. Like I knew you owned some stuff, but I didn't know you owned stuff like you own. Like I didn't know you owned those big moments. So for me, it was always the Zellers. That's all I knew about you. So,
This guy
man,
only has Zellers, yeah.
but at what point? Okay, it's not realistic to say that you would have sold everything at the highest of highs. Okay, none of us thought about it. Nobody, like not we all had our accounts go crazy, and nobody thought for 2 seconds I better sell everything. It's not how we're programmed. But at what point now that we're 2 years later after the highest of highs? At what point do you wish you had kind of gone out? That is not the highest point. Do you know what I mean? Is there a time you're like, you know what? Maybe last summer after I showed Julie my account, maybe I should have just got out at that point. or have you kind of just accepted everything and been like, you know what, it's time now. Might not be easy, but I don't have any regrets. I think that's tough.
Well, you always wish that you have sold higher. For me, it was when it first started to go up. It was not even at peak. It was on the way up. That I think, yeah, had around 3 or 4 million valuations at some point on the way up. That's when I almost pulled the trigger, and then I went up to 7.2, which I was very happy, and down to well, I mean, I can't really complain. I've been selling. I sold some stuff, and I've made my money with Top Shot. It's not even. I can't really complain. But yeah, I went to 7.2 mil, and now it's 330. Not even. Well, I sold some stuff, but yeah.
It would actually be really interesting to see who cashed out who had the highest cash out during the kind of rise and all that. Like, did someone have a collection like yours, Arsonic, and be like, I'm out of here, I'm cashing in on this? I don't know of anybody, but there must be someone that did.
Yeah. I know Snowfro, the guy from Art Blocks. He was around.
Yeah.
He sold, I think he sold around 10 LeBron James for in between 30K to 50K, something like that.
Wow. Smart.
He sold at a good moment, and he sold a lot of stuff. I know he cashed out a lot at that time. But yeah, when he sold, you could not withdraw anything. So I guess that's why most
just
people
trusted.
Don't take us back to those days, man. That's the reason none of us sold. Because there was nothing to do.
Exactly.
Dude, it's
And
insane.
if you
It's
sold,
honestly,
you'd be like, all right, let me spend it again. There's nothing else to do with this money.
But
it's honestly,
it's
honestly insane. Those sales, like a lot of that huge run up, like the people that were selling were all those OG people, all those Crypto Kitty people that Roham and the crew invited to be the beta testers of Top Shot. All those people knew. They're like, listen, this is another dapper freaking bomb that they're gonna drop, like Crypto Kitties, and I'm gonna get in first. And it's all, I don't know if it's favors or what, I don't know how you got on that list. Alexo's there too. But all those people were in, and they're the ones who like don't watch basketball, zero interest in the product, and made like literally freaking millions during that run up because they knew, you know, what they were doing. So yeah, pretty wild, man. Pretty wild to think back on that.
Yep.
It is what it is, right? I mean, there's nothing we can do now. It is what it is, and
exactly.
That's crypto though.
Programmed differently than.
Yeah. And if you're pissed off about that, or you have a lot of FOMO from it, and I'll say, and maybe Arsonic, you know, you're more vetted than I am. You've been in this longer than I have. If you want to be one of those people for a project, the time to be looking for those projects is right now. That's like those guys are getting on that list. Like if you go search like the history of the NBA Top Shot Discord, and you could look at like other friendlies that we have, like Scaly Nelson, right? Scaly Nelson loved MLB Champions, loved Crypto Kitties. He's still deep into NFTs. Those guys are writing messages in the Top Shot Discord way back in 2019, over a year before the project even sold anything or had a website. They had the community and accepting people and kind of getting them on the list and stuff like that. And that, if you look at the cycle time, 2019 is this year's 29. This next cycle is 2019 is 2023. So those projects you think are cool, the people that you think are good builders, the time to be the OG Top Shot people for the next wave is right now. You find those projects. Nothing's gonna fucking happen for at least a year until the Bitcoin halving. But
it's a bit, well, it's a bit what I'm doing, to be honest, with my Top Shot. I'm taking the money. I was
what's your list? Project. What are you buying?
But yeah, I don't know. I've not been anything so good lately, so not sure you should follow me.
Well, you can't look
unless
at it
you're really
like,
sloppy.
Here we go. Hold on. No, we know.
LG missed that.
We know. Yeah, we know. We know what you've been doing. Here we go. Let's go find it on Twitter.
So we know what you've been doing.
He swept the floor of Knights of Degen, which is a project from Drew Austin, as well as I think Jack Settleman was on the founding team there. I know them. I talk to them sometimes to try and collaborate. We've never gotten anything done. But an environment, an ecosystem that Arsonic is clearly very bullish on is Knights of Degen.
Interesting.
25.
You weren't supposed to say that. He's like, oh fuck.
Yeah.
Fuck. No, I've
Well,
been
he
buying
put it
stuff
on Twitter.
Solana.
He
I
literally
know.
posted on Twitter.
I
Be
know,
like,
but
this is what I'm
still.
doing with my gains.
He just
Yeah.
to say he put it, yeah, but didn't want you to make it, blow it up
No,
out
that's
there.
good.
He tweeted it. He
You know,
tweeted
I
it.
do
no
remember
worries,
though.
no worries.
Arsonic was really excited about wieners too, LG. I do remember that.
Yeah.
There's no reason not to be excited about wieners, Phil.
I have a message from
plenty of
him
reasons to be excited
saying
about that.
these are fucking great. Exact words from him saying that. So I don't know. I have nothing to say. It's really not me behind the project. I just don't know what's going on right now. That they told me that they were on pause until things got better, and that's it. So who makes that decision? I don't know. It'll be someone.
Are you talking about wieners right now?
I'm talking about wieners.
Yeah,
Just
wieners.
Just
Okay.
wieners updates. Since people are obsessed with thinking that I'm
Wiener
behind it,
updates.
but
Yeah. Thank you for the wiener updates. That's great. Arsonic, you probably got to go because your kids are probably waiting on the side of the road for you.
Yeah,
so
I'm
you
just
can
running
go.
out of gas too. So
running out of gas. Wow.
yeah.
Oh,
Did you hear that?
Model
Yeah,
X.
we heard that.
This guy's in the Model X ripping around for sure. That's what that means. Or he's in a really big Nissan Leaf, but I doubt that's what he's driving right now.
Oh my god. Wow.
So,
What
yeah,
an
big
appearance.
Nissan.
Oh, it is a
Thank you,
Nissan?
thank you guys for having me.
Huge.
Okay.
Oh man,
Huh?
this is such a good surprise. LG
Hold on,
did not tell
Arsonic,
me.
what kind of pants are you wearing? I need to know what your outfit is. 'Cause
Whoa,
you have a giant
hey, no, they
pink
shopped.
sweater.
They shopped.
And jeans. Damn, man.
Oh.
This guy. That's how you roll up to
And
your
the
kid's
shoe.
school? Is it your jeans and your giant
Oh,
pink
look at the
sweater?
sneakers too, man. Look at this.
Oh, whoa,
Wow.
Jordan sneakers? Holy shit. Are
Whoa,
those chips in the
man.
side of your Hold on, what's
That's
in
a
the side
Cliff
there?
Bar on the
Well,
side
what's
there.
down there?
That's a
No, what's
Cliff
down there
Bar,
behind
man.
your leg? There's chips. I see chips behind it. Lays or
Oh,
something
yeah,
like French
there you
lays.
go.
La boucan.
Hey, oh,
Wait,
why,
no, they're Japanese, they're Chinese.
why do you are you in China right now? What the fuck? Why do you have a bag
What
of
is
Lays
going
with
on
Chinese
here,
writing
man?
on it?
What the hell?
Yeah, I know. No,
Pharmacie
I'm going to
chinoise,
that
man.
Chinese. Yeah, that's it.
Le marché chinois. On va manger des
It's
mets
cheaper
chinois
over
à
there.
soir.
Yeah.
You know
How
the
did you see
cheapo.
that?
El cheapo go buy cheap chips.
You buy the
The
cheap
Chinese,
Chinese
Discounted
Lay's.
chips, yeah.
You get
Yeah, that's it.
knockoff Lay's chips. What the fuck?
Yeah.
Arsonic,
The Lays
Oh,
are like
Arsonic
4 or
really
5
needs
bucks
money.
now, man.
That's why he's selling his Top Shot, man. This guy's poor as shit. He's
He's more
buying cheap Chinese knockoff chips.
That was amazing. I don't know how we got him to turn his camera to see what's under, but that's kind of weird. I mean, so only LG can get people to do that.
It's sacré,
What
man.
it? This is my pants.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Yeah,
Yeah, I wanted to see the pants. Yeah, that's it. Oh, I need to know. I
Wow.
need to
and
know
I
what
have the
you're wearing.
glasses too.
Whoa!
There
Whoa,
we
you
go.
should have
Yeah,
LG. You
yeah,
should have
yeah.
charged for this. This is the kind of content people should be paying for, man. You should not
Maybe
get to
we
see
would,
Arsonic's pants unless you pay some kind of money. That doesn't make any sense. Hell no.
Put that outfit on Genies, man. Get a cash on here and let's sell that outfit on Genies. And it comes with a bag. And the Lay's chips are a one
We're
of
back.
one. Okay, there's only one of those.
Yeah,
We're back.
All right, Arsonic, we'll let you go, man. Great to see you.
Awesome,
Thanks for
guys.
hopping on.
What a surprise, man. Take care, Arsonic. We'll
Cool.
talk to you soon.
Au
Thank you,
revoir.
guys.
Ciao.
Yeah, man. Oh.
Wow. Well,
He's
That
definitely
was-
gonna get in shit when he goes into school, man. They'll be like, "Hey, là, on vous a dit les parents."
dude, he's like half an hour late. at
Dude, what
least
the hell
for
time
where
do
he
they
was
finish
going.
school at over there? It's
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, it's like 5:30.
fucking like 6 o'clock, man. He's left them there since 3:30. Holy shit.
Yeah, Quebec's harsh with their kids, man. They keep them till 6. Who knows
Jesus
what's going on over there?
Christ, 6 o'clock. Yeah. Wow.
Well, that was a nice treat. That was a nice treat to get Arsonic on here.
I had no idea, man. Even when you said special guest, I did not think it was Arsonic. He's
Mhm.
always up to something. If you can count on someone to always be active, no matter
Yeah.
what's going on,
Yeah.
he is always active. He's always
sneaky. He's
got
sneaky
something
up
on
to
the
things.
go.
Yeah.
Right?
And I really appreciate, I think there are a few people, at least in our community, that are like Arsonic, where he invests in the open and he invests in shit that is so stupid. And then he hits on some things, but like he's done so many crazy things. Like he bought the one of one first goats on Flow, which turned
Yeah,
out to be
man.
a super fucking rug, and he paid like 10 ETH for it or whatever.
He has no regrets though for any of that stuff, man. He's
No,
just-
and he paid like
yeah.
1 ETH or 5 ETH to jailbreak the Worm, which is one of my favorite NFT projects. We talked about it last week. The NFT that has to get passed around from wallet to wallet. He was the first investor in it. Like he spent money to jailbreak it so it could start moving around. And he's bought all these other weird, like he loves like the weird sexual NFTs of like weird,
Oh,
stupid
he loved those. Yeah, yeah. He
things,
got
like,
everyone into those.
crypto
yeah.
crotches or whatever they are. Like he loves all that weird pervy stuff. But then also hits on certain things, man. That guy buys tons of different tokens, all that kind of stuff. So I really appreciate and he always has such a chill vibe. and is always trying to support a lot of
he's one of the most
yeah.
like genuine and generous people by
Yes.
far, if not the
Yes.
most in the entire
Yes.
community. And
Mhm.
and the amount of giveaways he's done, he's always looking to give to people, and he's always
Yes.
willing to help people. It's unbelievable. I've met him in person. He's still furious that I deleted that picture or didn't save on my phone or whatever the hell happened, because we took a selfie together and he had his Genies hat on. The only chance we would have had to prove that he has a Genies hat.
That he has the Genies hat now.
But he truly is the most genuine person and generous for sure. I mean, the giveaways he's done are insane. He'll be like, "What do you guys like need help with today? Just post what it is you're looking, and I'll pick one person and help them out." People are like, "I need to buy groceries and shit," like shit like that.
Very generous, yeah.
Very generous, and he deserves, and he was honest about his Top Shot collection. He's not like,
oh yeah.
He's not like, no,
he's not trying to sugarcoat it.
He's not trying. I'm going to buy the next legendaries with that money. No, he's like, I'm fire sailing. It's time. I should have done it a long time ago. I'm going to keep what I like and what means something to me, which is my Cody Zeller collection. Other than that, I'm out. That's it. End of story. And I had no idea that Library and people like that had also bailed. I did not know that until he said that.
Well, I think they're bailing. I think it's hard to sell your entire Top Shot account. I think it takes a little. I think it takes. a little while.
When he posted a lump sum payment, like a fixed amount, I was like,
he tried to sell the whole thing, but
I don't think anyone's just going to be like, here's 300 grand for this. But
what's funny? A funny story about Arsonic is that the way he's close to us is kind of funny, because when I was in the OG Top Shot community, he was just the Cody Zeller guy that was buying Zellers, and he was kind of hard to negotiate with, or at least I thought. I was like, this guy's kind of challenging to kind of, and now his PFP is like a Hoodlums that was made specifically for him by the Hoodlums team.
Can't believe that.
But back then it was just Pepe the Frog, and his name was Arsonic. So I was just like, this guy is like an internet fucking troll. You know what I mean? Because I was like, this is a weird person. It's Pepe the Frog. His name's Arsonic. I don't know anything else about him. We've never seen him. So super weird. And the way he ended up being kind of part of First Mint in a way was that when we started our Discord and it was private, it was just for people like working on content for First Mint. And we got Plunge and the crew in there. And there was like 6 or 7 of us. We were starting to do the live shows and trying to coordinate. And Plunge was like, let's get, or we talked about it. We're like, let's get Arsonic, who's collecting the Cody Zellers. Let's get him on the show. And that was like our first or second episode. We're like, that's a funny guest. People want to hear about that. And Plunge added him to the Discord. And I was like, oh, you added him to like our weird little private Discord? Like, okay. And we made a channel just for him so he can see the rest of the stuff we're talking about. Because we were very secretive back then, right? It was all secret. Top Shot was all secrets. Who's talking about what? Who's doing a show with you, right? It was very, very intense. And then he just kind of got grandfathered into the community. And he's just always been there. And he's even had, he's always had a special channel in the First Mint Discord that's specifically for him. For a while, it was an X-rated channel for a little while there, and then we removed that, and now it's a channel called Débarbouillette, which in French is the French term for like a washcloth or something, like face cloth. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And now that's just a channel where Arsonic like posts different alpha and moves that he's doing. So it's kind of cool. It's worked out, and he's done a fantastic job. He founded Z-Blocks, which is kind of like a generative art company as well. Where they've partnered with like the Marilyn Monroe estate and Muhammad Ali estate to drop some of those NFTs. So Arsonic is like a great guy and also like a secret kind of big player in the space. You know what I mean? Like he's involved, so but always has time to come on back down to the old First Mint.
And he will be a member of the First Mint hockey team whenever.
Yes. Own the moment.
The game we've been talking about forever.
Destroy them. Yeah.
He will be a part of the team, and I hope those highlights have put a bit of fear into those guys, and his abilities. We saw what he can do now against those tremendous players he plays against, and hopefully make that happen. I think it'd be really cool. I think it would have already happened if we were still in kind of a bull market. If everything was going crazy, I think somebody would have found a way to kind of organize it and make it happen. But it's going to be tough now until things pick up a little bit again, and you can get some sponsors and things like that and make it like kind of a big event.
No, we got to do it like UFC Fight Island somehow, man. Where
there's we got to do like the NYPD and FDNY freaking.
Yeah, 2 teams go to the island, only one comes back. You lose, you die. That's it. That's to put your life on the line for a hockey game. I think that would draw the max entertainment. We get UFC or Slap League or whatever it's called to sponsor it. They'd be into that.
I did. Speaking of something like that, and my head's been the wheels have been running in my head for a while.
Oh, here we
One
go.
of the other posts
Yeah.
that I made on the first mint account was I asked people if they had the ability to go compete for a lot of money or reputation, whatever it is that floats their boat, which reality show that currently exists they would pick. Would it be Big Brother? Would it be I didn't put The Amazing Race. I didn't even realize people would watch that. A lot of people replied to Amazing Race. I said Big Brother, Survivor, The Bachelor or Bachelorette for those who are looking for love and just want to fool around.
Yeah.
And The Challenge, MTV The Challenge. For those who don't watch it, that's one of the greatest reality shows ever. I'm obsessed with it. I've been since day one. And I actually didn't even check the results. But the reason I am asking is because and you don't even know this, LG, I'm putting something together.
Oh, yes.
That could change the landscape of the NFT and crypto community. That's all I'm going to say. So there was a reason for me asking this. It's going to take a lot of work, but I am putting something together.
Whoa!
That not going to change the landscape,
secret Phil
but
D
that
project.
will light the fire in people again and get people excited and kind of not change the way things are done, but more so push them in a certain direction. So something I'm working on. Hopefully, we can get that done. Maybe sometime in the next few months, but we'll see. I'm putting something together.
Oh, wow. Fucking secret Phil D project is in the works.
You got it.
And to be part of it, send 12 ETH to his Ethereum address.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's right.
If you want to know anything about it, the minimum buy-in is 12 ETH, and there's no guarantee you'll ever get it back.
Yeah, that's right.
Or a bunch of sloppy coin. That's the other entry, is send him tons of sloppy coin. Okay. I don't even know his flow address, but ask him for it.
I had heard about that, and now that Arsonic brought it up, I know he was all over it.
I will say, I think it's really important for Flow to have that kind of stuff, because Flow, honestly, like in the broader scheme, is uncool. Like Flow, like I'm just talking about like the Ethereum scene of like people that are like, let's go Pepe coin, let's do all this new weird shit. I think it kind of lacks like an edge, which is funny because it's been the company that's developed the two biggest breakthroughs in NFTs, right? Which is ironic, but I think it has a reputation and a vibe of being overly corporate, right? That it's a hard chain to build on. It's, people couldn't launch things on Dapper Wallet and launch contracts on Flow for a long time without being approved by the team. Like, that's bullshit. While everyone's going on Ethereum, making all these crazy things, making all these rugs, everyone's having fun, So I think for them to have weird little shit coins, that's good. I think it's a really important step in the right direction. Like Flow needs an edge. It needs a scrappiness. It needs to be a place that people go to try and get rich, to play the casino in some way. That's crypto, right? So I think that this kind of stuff is good to undo some of that. Because Top Shot just became the story for Flow, and it still is a story for Flow. And the story is of like corporate interest, that it's like they overminted because they need the revenue, whether that's true or not. I think that that's the story. And I think that weird little shit coins are like, I think that that's a huge help, for that kind of stuff to happen. I think that's gets people to open Flow wallets again. So it's good that good that Arsonic's into that. We have something to say. You're going to drop something insane.
No, I don't. I absolutely don't. The other post I made, because you brought this up.
Oh yeah, that's right. The post. Yeah.
The other post I made was about the worm. I found the video on my phone of we're going to keep these people nameless because I have a bad habit of doxing people, like, there's so and so. Whoops. Like I did to 90s fan when we went to that basketball game together. I'm like, whoa, doing videos, and I like pan to his face. I'm like, yeah, hanging out with 90s fan. I'm like, oh shit, nobody even knows who that is. But I found a video of the worm at NFT NYC, and I was thinking about it because it's been almost a year, LG, since we went out there, and I'll be honest, it does not feel like a year. It feels like we just went on that trip. And for me in this space, like that trip was so, for me anyways, was so monumental in the sense that I hadn't gone to any events in the 2 years we were in the space. And, but I had built such close relationships with so many people that finally being able to attend, and not just attend, but have a good time with so many members of the community. It wasn't just about sharing information and stuff like that. We had some nice conversations, but just enjoying and having a good time in real life as opposed to online. Because at the First Mint, we do a lot of events in our Discord. For those who don't know that, you're listening, you're not part of the Discord. We do a lot of kind of like community events. Like we used to do a lot more, but we try and do them whenever we can now, where, I don't know. What do you usually call them, LG? They're not fireside chats, but they're just like a hangout. Right?
Hangouts. Yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
we have a little DAO in our Discord that we're working on some fun stuff. We
Yeah.
did a little coffee chat the other day. We try and get together like once a month. You know what I mean? Either for like an informal chat, a project chat. We've had some special guests in the Discord and stuff. And I think generally we have a good time, but it's not, you know, it's good, but it's not the same as actually physically getting together.
It's not the same. So
Yeah.
just to go to a city like New York, I feel New York played a big part in that. If you know, I see other events in Minnesota, I see events in, you know, I don't know, more kind of obscure towns. It's not the same. New York is so iconic. The fact that when you're in New York, you already feel special. But the fact to be able to go there and meet all the people and see people do their thing, I think that's for me what was so exciting is we met friends, but they were busy with their own project at the same time. You know, you had the Ballers crew. It was like, hey, Andrew, cool, man. We've been friends for a long time. We finally got to meet, but you're busy working, and I get to see you do what you do. And then you could go anywhere in the city of New York, which is such a big city, and continuously see either something NFT related or people you knew. It was awesome, man. Like seriously, it was an experience of a lifetime. It's unfortunate you got sick and missed like half of it, I would say, because you were feeling like complete death after the third day.
That when that COVID hits, baby.
But you know, at least
when it's your first COVID, everybody remembers their first COVID. You know,
I guess, that was rough.
Horrific.
But
it was too bad. That was awful. But it's probably because we started our time in New York by getting together in a tiny room and singing karaoke into the same microphone with strangers from across
spitting into a microphone and all that.
It's probably how I got it.
Whoa, what's going on here?
What did you do?
Whoa.
How did you get purple? Did I do that?
I don't know. I didn't do anything like this. Is that the Barney effect or like what the hell is this?
What the fuck? How did you do
I love you. I didn't do that. It's like the first mint.
Insane. I don't know how I would have done that. Yeah, I don't know.
Oh
Well, that's
my
pretty
God,
cool.
I'm
Okay, here's the video of the worm. Here's the video of the worm. So it's us riding the worm.
Feel the rhythm. Feel the ride. Forward.
Whoa, forward. That's kind of okay.
Look how much fun we're having, man. That was at the First Mint picnic on whatever Liberty Island or whatever it's called in New York. That was super fun. We had a great time.
I don't know.
Phil, what the hell's going on?
I
Why are
did
you
not
suddenly
do that.
purple?
I usually fade into the darkness. Now I'm fading into some purple Bolivian here, or some purple abyss. I don't know, man. Yeah, it was a lot of fun. Like I can't believe again, it was a year ago, man. Like seriously, a year ago today, we were like getting ready to go in a week or something like that. And time flies, right? And I don't think, and I can attest from people who were at NFT NYC this year and at VCon and all that, it's just not the same. That NFT NYC last year felt like that moment where everyone got together, like maybe one last time for the first time, but one last time before things would kind of like, think of all the people we've lost from the space too that have kind of just moved on. We have some really good.
I mean, they might be back,
right?
but it's something where it's like there's less
tough.
incentive right now to kind of hold. And I think it's just like there's very few things in the last year since then, Phil, that haven't gone down. You know what I mean? Like it's like most things are down. Even the state, you know, Ethereum, Bitcoin, it's like they're not going anywhere, but those people come back. I think it's highs and lows, and I think it's important for us to kind of keep going, doing what we're doing. I can't take you seriously with this freaking purple filter.
I don't know what's going on.
I don't know what the hell happened to you, how that happened. StreamYard's playing some tricks on us right now. It's pretty trippy right now with what I'm seeing. But
what's the word with Ape Fest, LG? What's the word? Anything?
No word. I don't know. Ape Fest. I feel
like that could be a party. I feel like that could be a bit of a party like that.
So we wanted to go to Ape Fest, but they said they weren't going to do it at NFT NYC this year. They said they're going to do it a different time, and I have no idea what that is. I feel like the news could come any day, but it could also not come for the rest of the year. The apes are doing a lot, man. They're launching all these games. They hired the COO from Activision to run the company. One of the founders had to take a leave from exhaustion, all that kind of stuff. So I feel like they're trying to do a lot of different things, but inevitably I feel like an event is at the core of what they do. So I feel like that will be back. I don't know what's up with that. A lot of people, you know what they're doing, Phil, and I can't go because I've other plans already, is people are going to NBA Con which is at NBA Summer League, which I think we should go to next year. I think that's like super fun. I think that's like a great way to kind of get people together, because then you can see some kind of cheap basketball games, right? See the prospects. And Vegas is honestly just the best place for conferences because there's tons of stuff to do.
Of course it is.
And it's designed for get-togethers, right? So New York was fun, but like, man, New York is hard to navigate. Like it's ballers having a party like all the way
no.
Nifty's having a Matrix party out in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah.
Shout out Jimmy Mouton.
Come on down Out of
is
Brooklyn,
really
dude.
hard when everyone else is
No.
having theirs in Manhattan, right? So, but yeah, I think events over time are going to pick up again. I think it's just a matter of the thing with conferences is that they don't make economic sense unless you get tons of people, right? Like
Right.
Proof of Conference, which is Moonbirds, Kevin Rose, like they were supposed to, their whole one of their big value props for selling Moonbirds was like, and then you get to come to our conference. Which they were supposed to have this past April. And then when they released pricing for it in January, turns out that you still needed to pay even if you held an NFT, which was ridiculous. And then lo and behold, they canceled it because not enough people bought tickets. So I think it's really hard to have conferences right now. Ape Fest to me, Ape Fest is the kind of thing where it's like that could replace like Coachella in the future. Not to say that apes could be at that level, but it's like they drew in Eminem and Snoop Dogg. Like I think Ape Fest should be a music festival or like some kind of like music kind of circus festival, and then on the side there's a bit of NFT stuff. But first and foremost, I think they have the potential to just throw the best party there is, right? So I think that's what they need to do, and I still have a mutant ape, and hopefully that's what it unlocks in the future, and we can go, and they
hopefully that gets you and your great brother in.
Yeah, I was gonna say, hopefully they owe it. That mutant ape always comes with a +1, so I can bring my big bro to these awesome concerts.
If not, then I'll have to give another shout out to our friend Lorax, who had like 10 friends on standby to bring anybody in last time.
Lorax is another secret big player, man. That guy's amazing.
Oh man, yeah. So some great people, and you know what? It's bittersweet for me that it's been a year because again, such a great time in my time in the space. And kind of weird that a year later we're in such a not a dark space, but in a kind of break, and you had warned me. You said, hey, this is the final hurrah, man. Like when we go to New York here, we're on the plane, you're like, this is it, dude. Like this is for now, for the time being and the time coming, we're at kind of a place where this will be the last event. And after that, trust me. And for me, I was like, what? Are you serious? Like we're going here to party and have a good time and it's over after that? Like, no way.
Well, I think we're getting close. I think we're getting close to good times again. And I don't mean that as in go out and spend all your money buying Ethereum or Bitcoin or anything like that. But I think if you believe in like the cyclical part of crypto, like every 4 years, the Bitcoin halving, all that kind of stuff, because that's what people believe in, right? Is that every 4 years, Bitcoin basically cuts in half, right? It forks, and that's this complicated. It's a big event for Bitcoin basically every 4 years. And that usually drives the price up and starts the bull rally, right? And you look at kind of like, if you look at the histories, the undulation the last couple of years, again, that's what I was saying that like we're in the 2019 version of the last bull run where it's like the whole year, things are going to kind of be weird. They're going to kind of suck. There's going to be some good things you can buy and flip and whatever, but overall people are gone. No one's really caring. The media thinks crypto's stupid. And then 2020 is when things are going to start to kind of boil a little bit, right? So that's next year. Bitcoin halving happens in April next year, 2024. Things start to percolate. You feel like there's good vibes coming in. A few people starting to come back in. And then 2025 is the big run like we had 2021. So that might seem very far away, Phil, but it's actually really not like this. Sorry, this is going to fuck a lot of people up when I say this. 2025 is in 18 months from now. It's in 18 months. 2025 to me has always been like a date, like that's in the future. Like that is deep in the future, millions of years in the future. But 2025 is in 18 months. We're going to be December 2024. So think about that, right? That it's like, that's pretty soon. And that we're not that far away. We're like halfway there from like the bad to the good. You know what I mean? Like we're at the halfway point, I'd say, of like things actually start to get really exciting again. And I think it's a good time to start talking about some of that stuff or start getting excited about those other things.
That is exciting.
It might not be that far off and hopefully, be throwing parties again.
All right. Something to look forward to.
Something to look forward to.
Just as you shattered my dreams a year ago by telling me that it's almost all done.
Just saying the networks, let's say, you know what? The networks haven't started talking about season 2 of NFTs, but they're thinking about it.
The builders are starting to
thinking.
maneuver around.
The builders are here. The builders are here to think about it and talk about it. Phil, let's talk about the hot take of the week. Let's talk hot take of the week. This week's question. This is actually kind of a trick question because you're still going to pick a winner and then I'll reveal the real answer. What was LG's favorite TV show growing up? That's the hot take of the week. A lot of different answers here. Phil, do you have anything to say about that before I read the answers?
I feel like I'm going to know this. If I feel like when it hits, I'll probably know. But I didn't look at the answers, so and off the top of my head, I don't know. But I was getting notifications all day, and there's some really, really outrageous answers. People literally looked up Canadian kids shows and stuff like that.
Oh, for sure, yeah.
And decided to submit answers. So I'm excited to hear what people thought.
Okay,
and we'll see. Let's see.
Here we go. There are some really good answers in here. Okay, so here we go. Magnum PI, Just for the Sweet Mustaches, which was written by two different people, Top Shotta and Jared Vault. Both wrote Magnum PI. Jared also wrote it way earlier. He said Magnum PI because mustache goals are established early in life. I'm just going to tell you right now, Magnum PI was on well before I was born. So just relax on that one. And I don't think it's a children's show. So
yeah, that would have to have been after hours when LG and I would like sneak in Simpsons or Tops or something like
that. Yeah, exactly. It started in 1980. Okay. I'm not.
Dad would be like, "What are you guys watching down there? Care Bears?" It's like cops, guys Care chasing Bears, each other all over the street.
Okay. Let's see here. Somebody said real Bernardo, not Bernardo. He said had to be Blossom, right? And it's a gif of the guy saying, "Whoa."
I have hold on. I know you don't want to comment on every story, on every answer, but I'll just give you this one. I actually saw the girl from Blossom about 5 or 6 years ago, or maybe a bit more, close to my work. We went for a work lunch at like one of those like restaurants called, not Jack Astor's, but like Marlowe's or something like that. Like one of those ones in those plazas with tons of restaurants. And she was actually a waitress there. And I'm like, "Are you the girl from Blossom?" She's like, "Yes." I'm like, "Holy shit. All right. I guess she's just a regular citizen now working as as a waitress
in Canada,
in Richmond Hill. Actually, it was in Markham, Ontario, Canada. Yeah, she worked as a waitress. I'm like, "Holy shit, you're the girl from Blossom." So, was it Blossom? Do I have the wrong show? No, I don't know. Never mind.
Blossom? There's no way that chick does not. There's no way that girl lives in Toronto.
Isn't she Canadian?
No, she's from the U.S. You're thinking about somebody else, man, or maybe like a girl from Blossom that wasn't the main character, but Blossom.
No, not the actual Blossom. Yeah,
she's still in movies and stuff like that. Like she still does like random stuff. Like There's no way it's her. I think
it's not the main girl. No, yeah,
not the main girl.
No,
okay,
no,
not
no,
the main
no.
girl.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Who from Blossom?
I'd have to look it up, but I remember that being a thing. And if I have the wrong show, my bad. But no, I think it's Blossom.
Wow.
Sure
Wow.
I'll find it. I'll talk about it next time.
Okay, well, Blossom was not my favorite show. Someone put a GIF. It's just a Canadian flag, and then someone put a GIF of Sharon, Lois, and Bram, which is a kid's show with 3 adults and a giant and an elephant puppet where they sing songs to you, which was a great show. I will say that. Next answer, Baywatch, because Phil was the greatest influencer of LG's childhood, and Boy Meets World was already taken. Wow, that's pretty good.
Wow. Okay.
Next one, the Andy Griffith Show. Ain't no way he grew up with color TV. Come on, man. What the? Don't
do you think we are, man?
Yeah, don't let the wilderness beard fool you, man. Like I'm not. Yeah. I wasn't born in the fucking 50s. Okay, let's go through some of these.
Seriously.
I had to look up some Canadian shows of the 80s. How about this one, LMAO, and it's a poster of Degrassi Junior High, which was, I think, one of the very first, if not the first, syndicated Canadian TV show that made it outside of Canada, which then Drake was on later on, not in the original.
I knew that would be an answer just for the simple fact that Drake was on it. I feel like Americans or even Canadians use that. Like all of a sudden, everybody watched Degrassi. Like we knew what it was. We never watched it. Right. But because now Drake is associated with it, all of a sudden everyone's like, "Oh my God. Yeah. Okay. I got the show that girl is on. It's not Blossom. I'm just thinking about it now. It was a show called Ready or Not. Is that what it was called?
Oh, yeah.
Do you know what I'm talking about? She looked like her, though.
That's a Canadian show. I'm
yes.
pretty
okay.
Sure.
I'm sorry. That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah. It's a
okay.
Canadian
Yes. There it is.
Yeah. Those 2 girls. Yeah. I think one of the guys on that show went to Jarvis Collegiate, and we'd see him sometimes, which was like up the street from our school, which was like in the terrifying downtown ghetto of Toronto for some reason.
Yeah,
dude, that's a throwback. Now that is a Canadian TV show. That's basically like the Canadian Blossom, but obviously
that's why I was thinking
as glamorous.
That's exactly why that came to
I don't think this aired in the US, but it was basic. I guess this is these 2 teen girls, and they're friends, and they just kind of navigate like the challenges of being, young high school chicks. I don't know. I think
the one on the right is the one that now works. Well, used to 5 or 6 years ago works at
Wow.
Yeah, my bad.
Okay.
Not Blossom.
Okay. All good. Yeah. No worries. Okay. There's that one. Bill Nye the Science Guy, because science is hard and needed to be simple. Wow, that's a bit of a freaking dig at me, man. What are you saying? I needed science to be freaking easy for me. You don't know what other kind of careers I could have had. You don't know what kind of college offers I had in the science world. Family Matters, because it was wholesome and Steve Urkel was an absolute legend of a character.
That was one of my favorites.
It is pretty good. Yeah, that was pretty good. It was definitely Pinky in the Brain. Obviously, the goal was to take over the world. That was good. Animaniacs was a fantastic show. And then there's one that I saved for last.
Okay.
And it's just a gif of Bob from Reboot. If anybody watched Reboot. Exactly. This is after Phil's time, and Phil's not nearly as much of a freaking giant nerd as I am. But Reboot, which is the real answer, is a show that I think was Canadian produced, but aired everywhere. I don't know. American Friends, you definitely had Reboot. It was basically like a 3D show. It was one of the first 3D shows. It was all 3D animation, and it's about people who live in a computer. Okay, they made this out in Vancouver. I'm just reading about it now. They made it in Vancouver, and it's basically like the inside of a computer, and there's like a villain, and his name is Megabyte. And they always have to, he always has some scheme, and they have to stop him. And Bob is the main guy. And there's all these computer terms. Like one of the other villains is called hexadecimal, and one of the girl, the love interest, is called Dot. I don't know. And basically, what happened is, this is actually pretty advanced. They live in this city called Mainframe. It's computer terms. And every episode, a game would get loaded into Mainframe, and it'd be a giant purple cube that would land in the city. And if they didn't go in there and win the game, it would destroy the part of the city that it landed on. Like it would destroy it. So they had to go in, wait under the cube to fall on them, go inside, and then they had to beat the user. So it'd be like a game where it's like a medieval fair, and then they'd put on their like game outfit where they're like a medieval knight, and then there'd be the user who's the player, the human player, as their like digital, game player. And they had to stop that person from winning the game. And then if they did, the game would go away and wouldn't destroy the computer. And that was basically the plot of Reboot. And that was easy. Like I would tape it because I freaking loved it, man. I was obsessed with Reboot. And I think I still kind of am, honestly. So that's the answer. Phil, I don't even know if you have a preferred take. None of these were that funny, but that's the accurate answer, is Reboot.
Well, that's 100% the winner then. Like 100%. I'm not, I mean, this is not even a hot take. This is, whoever could get the real answer should win. And I didn't even know that.
Mathematech knows me well. He's also Canadian. He definitely knows the way to my heart. So he's got it. He's got it down. He's going to be this week. Yeah. Let's see if he messages for his prize, because a lot of people don't message for the prize.
Only one or
see
two
if he
have
actually,
done
yeah, exactly. See how many people actually listen to the show.
Mm-hmm.
Well, Phil D, this has been another fantastic edition. Thanks for listening to all my stories and my advice about the wilderness.
Now go get a haircut.
No way, man. I'm growing this hair out, dude. I'm growing. You see, I got the long hair back here.
We go.
Wait till you see me, man. You'll see how crazy this hair really is.
We are back.
Wait till you see me, which may be sometime this summer. Who knows? Maybe the Doucette Bros are going to be together IRL sometime soon. If we do that, Phil, we need to throw a giant bash in Toronto or something like that for all the Top Shot people. Arsonic has already messaged me saying you guys need to come to Montreal.
Is that what he said since he's been on the air?
Yeah, he already messaged me and said he texting and driving me saying you got to come, and you and Phil got to come to Montreal so we can have a beer.
3 hours late picking up the kids, and then now texting and driving, wearing like he's sneaking chips in the side of his car to the point where he gets home for dinner. Judy's gonna be like, it's time to eat. And he's gonna be like, I'm not hungry. He's been eating all the Chinese chips all day, and he's wearing full jeans, and it's like 30 degrees outside. Wow. What a guy. We definitely have to go there for drinks.
What a baller that guy is. He specifically his words in Discord are, anyways, if you're around, please let me know so you can come grab a beer or two. Winky face. He wants to get shit faced with us.
Oh, we know he does.
He wants to get blasted.
Let's do it, man.
Oh, man. All right. Well, Phil D, good to see you again. Have a great week. Thanks, everybody, for listening to another great episode of The First Mint.
See ya.